life. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm pretty much content with just rhyming all day.
Or digital can instantly share pictures.
I can start. Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. Later, you know what it is. Hey, ham solo. It's time, baby. Low. Let's turn out we do. Hey. They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you man, I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a wheel. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you on red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make it bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said go.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another early edition of Everything Plus Gaming on TSWS. I'm Luke7, and joining me as always, my ever African brothers, less so Taye, but we'll allow it. Taye Talks and Mr. Osha07. Taye, you came in here first. How you doing? And what have
Good
you been
evening,
playing?
everyone. I've been playing Metaphor, slowly ticking down the days. I
Yes.
decided to look at my builds to see, where to improve. I want the final battle to be interesting. I don't want to be too overpowered, but I want to be able to, flesh out different special abilities, make it look flashy. And I want to work for it. If there's anything I hate, it's fighting the boss I can, finish off in one go. So I'm hoping to at least struggle with it for at least a couple of days before I am close off the game.
All right, good stuff. I have a question about Metaphor. I don't know why I didn't ask Ham this, but since you're playing it, I guess I'll ask you. Um, is there like multiple endings? Do you get the feeling that there are multiple endings on Metaphor, or is it just it is what it is?
There should be multiple endings. I have no confirmation of that, but what I do know is that just like any other RPG game, they have your colleagues who you can level up and finish out their main missions. You also have all these other attributes you can do, and excuse me, there's also how you interact with the people. So if they really like you, you have a score there, and the fact that they've emphasized those points leads me to believe that there is multiple endings.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So it's a 60 or so hour game, and you don't just it and there's multiple endings, so there's replayability as well. Just uh, just wanted to confirm that real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's replayability. It's replayable for a lot. Is it really replayable? I think one thing that Western
Can
studios
you
do.
make different builds?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm.
yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, 100%.
And there's a very big difference between the build. Like for example, Cyberpunk, a game that I regard as one of the best RPGs of all time. Right next to it, right next to like Mass Effect 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. I can play with a machine gun. Like in terms of gameplay, obviously
Mhm.
there's like six endings. It's crazy, right? And there's a whole bunch of other like different decisions you can make throughout the game. But even gameplay wise, if you main machine guns, it's completely different if you main shotguns or if you main like the hacking ability. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it turns into a completely different game. It almost feels like you're playing it fresh again, except for like when you're driving to and from destinations. So my question to you is in terms of gameplay, does it have the same build diversity?
Yeah, it does. I would say so. One thing I might be able to point out is that because it's turn based, maybe you could argue that it's not as diverse as free play where you have to like dodge and etc. etc. But I wouldn't really push on that. So it's diverse from a gameplay perspective. What I will say though is I think the open world elements, it seems for me, Western studios, if we're gonna, differentiate, I would say that they're better at that. Like when I play Cyberpunk, I feel like there's a lot to do in the world. Same thing for The Witcher, same thing for maybe even Baldur's Gate will have some of that elements as well. Mass Effect had a lot of good side stories, and even Dragon Age and Veilguard. As much people didn't like it, people did say there was some good writing from the story points of view. With games like Metaphor and even like Xenoblade, I struggle to see a reason to go back to them unless you enjoy the
What?
gameplay and you want to try out new ways of tackling the monster. But apart from that, the worlds feel largely empty.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're just not great. Like Xenoblade is like it's one of my favorite RPG games, right? It's fantastic in every way, shape, or form. However, I can't compare the storytelling of its world and the side characters to something like a Mass Effect, or, to something like even for example, Assassin's Creed does a really good job of giving you content to play after the main story. You could go to the real world and do those missions. You could look for treasure chests. You can do dungeon crawling, dungeon hunting. You can fight specific monsters or things. And Ubisoft,
Your microphone. Something's up with your microphone.
Ubisoft, can you guys hear me now?
It's still muffled.
It's really the signal.
Yeah, no, it's muffled.
Okay, I'll step out. I'll step back in.
All right. Well, while you fix that, Oshus, what have you been
Yo,
playing? How are you doing?
I know. Good, good. No complaints. Bliss. What have I been playing? I tried again to install Avowed and get through just like the first 30 minutes, and I just couldn't. Like, the game bothers me. Like, why does a game why does it look like that? Like, why is it so damn ugly?
Oh,
So
damn. Not
I couldn't.
ugly.
That's one stink ass ugly game, bro. Like, it's visually, it's just a very unattractive game. Um,
What?
so to cleanse my palate, I popped in Make a Break, and damn, damn. Like I know they did not hold back. They've got everything. Like, and the ironic thing is, you only get to spend that time actually with the character creator. It's probably the best character creator, period. Well, for making female characters anyway, because you can customize individually all the jiggly bits and everything, whatever, to your heart's content. I didn't even play around with that. I was just shocked that I started up the game, and immediately the first character that they sort of gave me was a dark skinned female, very attractive dark skinned female, which is so rare in these games. Um, so that to me was a relief. I didn't even have to customize my character. I just immediately picked her and got into the mech. And to me, that's a win because like there's just like to me, first impressions are so important. And when your game, your face looks like a crustacean before you even start. Like, why do I want to play this? So,
But
I
you
mean,
don't
you
have to pick those disgusting designs for the protagonist, though.
but the characters also just look bland. Like they don't even like they just look like bland people. They don't look like heroes. They don't look like people or characters I would like to play in a medieval setting. There's a smaller game I played on Game Pass, which is also a medieval game. I forgot the name. Even that game has better like character. You believe that the characters being from that setting, just by starting up the game. You believe that you are in a medieval setting. So yeah, no, like Mecha Break, very very like solid first impression. I tried on my PC on Steam. The only thing that sort of was disappointing is like after the intro, then the game just becomes another sort of like what they call uh, um, these live services where it's the same sort of like capture the flag or go capture base B and all that crap. And I'm not really into like that sort of multiplayer thing. I was hoping it's some sort of like a different spin on that. So yeah, like I'm really really happy with like overall. I just spent hours just playing around with the character creator. That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
So the
And I
best
just
part
installed.
about
Sorry,
sorry, and you just installed?
Indiana Jones. I put Indiana Jones back in because I just need something to play on PC for Xbox, and I want to see how that goes.
Wow. So make a break over Avowed. Okay. All right.
Any day, dude, like that game, like it's so frustrating.
But does Make a Break have a story? Does it have a campaign? Does it have what does Make
It,
a Break have?
so it's currently it's just a demo, right? So you're basically just testing out, like excuse me, whatever's completed. But like the story, if if you like, Japanese
Just say
slash,
no. Just say no, there's no story.
it has a
Say it.
story. Like they spend a lot of time on the story. It's just one of those very generic sort of like Eastern stories, like those like copy and paste type of filler stories, where you can tell there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot that's original or interesting, which is probably the weakest part of like
It's a
most
bit
Eastern stories.
insulting.
Yeah, but like they just don't make strong stories, dude. Like they like unless it's an RPG, like legit RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Story is at the level I would say of like what is this thing? The First Descendant. There's just it's not gonna be what draws you in. You either stay for the mechs or you stay for the babes.
So Make a Break, just so I can situate myself, that's the game with the exaggerated uh, like cinematics when you eject from the mech, right?
What are you talking about? Like those are just physics, bro. What exaggerate?
Okay, whatever. Make a Break is the one where you see the
The
it.
physics, the woman's body responding to
Oh
gravity.
my god. Ty, have you seen this? Have you seen these 5 second cinematics?
You mean I actually haven't, to be honest.
What?
I thought this was Marvel Marvel
I should have
Rifles.
booked. I should have bookmarked this shit. Like, let me check on Twitter real quick, bro. That's why Oshis is trying to he's trying to cage all of these things and quantify and qualify.
Mm.
Let me see this mecha break ejection sequence, bro. When you see this, right? When you see this, Ty,
It's realism.
dude. All right, I found it. Jesus, it didn't even take long. Y'all are gooning hard. And I wanted to get into the IGN Fanfest, but all right, let's get into the gooning. Let's get into the gooning. Hold on, hold on. Let me quickly remove this from the screen. All right, share. Ty, here you go. There you go.
Look at
Huh?
that level of realism. Priceless.
Realism, my tits, dude.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why we play games, bro. It's for
Listen,
it's
I
escapism.
did see the Monster Hunter mod, and I was just thinking, like,
this is
what's
no
on here?
mod, brother. This is no mod. This
Yeah.
is like
Now they went all out there with the jiggle physics. You can adjust so many levels of that. It's like it's insane, and that's all gamers want. Is that like what's so difficult about just
what do
giving
you
me a
mean
bit?
that's all gamers want? Steady on, brother. That's what you want. All right?
No, like, and I'm a
with your
gamer.
with your Guna channel. That's what you want. Oh, just
I'm a gamer. This is what we want to see. We want to see,
bro.
you know, real life representation of if I was a female pilot
No,
piloting
no.
a giant mech,
Time.
would the physics work properly
Mhm.
if I happened to be very gifted?
Oh my god. Vincent Vega, good evening, brother. Says show the Monster Hunter mod. All right, I'll show the Monster Hunter mod after. But first, I want to ask Ty. Ty,
Mhm.
it is video games, right?
Mhm.
And one thing that we've been bitching about to the so-called woke people is that they take woke stuff that has nothing to do with the video game world and they stuff it into the world.
Mhm.
Dude, in a world where you have mechs, do you not have suits that can keep the assets? steady? Is that not a priority? Is that not something that can cause discomfort? Like, I'm not a woman, but I don't know, the idea of every time I move my mech around aggressively, I'm like, the jiggle physics are happening all over the place. That's an issue for me. No,
Come on now.
Listen, to a lot of people out there, realism is only good if it serves their purpose, and
there we
what purpose that is.
there we
Exactly.
go.
So they'll pick and choose when it's realistic and when it doesn't seem
Exactly.
to be realistic.
That's my problem.
What's
Um,
wrong with that?
I think it's perfectly fine, but I the only thing I'll dispute, and you're probably joking or slash trolling, where it's like what gamers want. What I would say is like a game like Armored Core, for example, right? You have people who are fans of a genre or particular game. So,
Oh
for
my god.
example, Monster Hunter has sold 30 million units, right?
Yeah.
It didn't sell 30 million units because the women were half naked. There's a subsection of people who like these things.
Oh my god. Pause. Pause. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
I need
that's a
you.
mod.
What?
Yeah, so it's gonna
What?
like this
Bro,
is not the reason why people play Monster Hunter
I'm
or
gonna
why
go
people play
I'm gonna go
games.
buy Monster Hunter right now, bro. What?
That's enough motivator for me. Is like, yeah, if your game ain't good, at least have it be good
Oh
looking.
my lord. Sorry, Ty. Carry on. Carry on.
But
Very
that's basically the
disrespectful.
point, nobody there's a subsection of people who might buy games for these type of things, and you might pull in some
Yeah.
extra sales, but ultimately, no one is buying Monster Hunter for this. Like, it has its
No.
core fan base. Even like, for example, Armored Core. So Armored Core has doesn't have anything sexy about it, right? It's pretty plain Jane, and that's sold 3 million units. I think it's one of the best selling Armored Core games out there.
It's a
So
no no. Ty, I want to correct you. Armored
mhm.
Core is one of the best mech games
Yeah,
ever made.
mech games out there. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, mech games out there,
Yeah.
and that
Not
didn't
not
need
just in the
nudity.
franchise.
Yeah, that didn't need like sexuality or nudity in it. In fact, the one that you just
There
showed
was no
me,
cutscenes, bro.
yeah, the one you just showed me with, like, with the jiggle physics or whatever. I
Bro.
imagine that one's gonna sell less than Armor Core because these people are they're not the main core of video games. They're quite small and
Yeah.
niche.
Nonsense, man. Here comes with these nonsense propaganda. Was like, you are the minority if you're a core gamer and you like core things. Like kick
Well,
ass.
no, because the point is like if that was if you guys were the core, let me not say you guys, but if these people
We
were the
are the core.
core, if these people were the core, Monster
Yeah.
Hunter World would have sold 30 million units, right? It would sell
Why?
30 million units because
That's
of this
that's
mods
true.
right here.
That's true.
No, but like that's the whole point. That's like I think a lot of the time when we have these discussions, like a lot of the cope around it always misses the point. If you
Okay.
have sexy, you can have all the sexy women in the world, right? You can have all the aesthetically pleasing women or characters in the world. But if your game is garbage and you don't have a good gameplay loop or a gameplay loop people are interested in, you're not going to sell anything. It's not an either or. We are saying that for the longest time, these people have gone out of their way to make sure that these characters are not in any way like when you look at them, it's like you're looking at the lady at the grocery store. That's how they want you to feel when you look at their characters. It's exactly how I feel when I look at like
I
characters
disagree. I
in,
disagree, Oshus.
in Avowed.
I
Okay,
disagree, Oshus. Because I don't know,
motivate.
man. I've been to the grocery stores in South Africa.
Yeah. Well, no,
Besides,
not
like,
our grocery stores.
they won't be half naked, but you can tell that, oh my lord,
Yeah,
she
I'm
just
talking
needs an
about like
outfit. She just needs like a change of outfit. That's all she needs, and she's working at the telling at the at the till. So I would disagree with that statement. I think the issue
fair
is
enough.
the androgynous feeling
Yes,
that you get from characters on like games like Avowed, for example. Like the chicks
yes,
on Monster Hunter, for example. Like the hips are pronounced, bro. They're not
they
trying to
look like
pretend. They're exactly. They're not trying to pretend like maybe these aren't women. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Or maybe
No,
this
but exactly
isn't a
like
man. It's like no, no,
you
no,
hit
no,
it
no,
on the
no,
head.
no. Women are
You hit it
this,
exactly on
men
the
are
head with
that, and we're going to lean into both. That's I think that's what's the real difference here.
yeah,
But
but
again,
like
this is sorry to call across your ashes, but it's an
no, go ahead.
artistic situation, right? So, for example, I will very much admire a Monster Hunter's aesthetic style. I would also admire Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all these games. However, you're going to get
You
some
just
games
mentioned
with
a whole bunch of games that
yeah,
lean
yeah,
all the way into. a man is a man and a woman is a woman.
No, but then you could have games that don't even lean towards these things, right? And that game could
The
be
ones that don't lean to it, if you notice, more times than not, they don't do well.
no,
Because
because
be-
well, it's
be-
artistic. Well, what
because
I mean is like, for example, you could look at a game like Gears of War, right, where everyone seems more neutralish, and like
you're
that
lying.
game is gonna
You're
sell.
lying. You're lying.
I'm lying.
If you
Mm.
play Gears of War,
Hmm.
they're not trying to hide any woman's hips. Don't
Well,
you
I
Wait,
dare
mean,
wait,
lie to
wait,
yourself,
wait. You
bro.
mean the recent one? I don't think anyone plays the recent Gears of War game and thinks, "Oh yeah, this is a woman right here."
Cat used to be hotter in Gears 4. They
And
made
you see,
her
Ty, that leans into exactly what I'm saying. In the previous Gears of War games, they weren't trying to confuse
exactly.
anyone, and people embraced that shit.
But like, go look at the design of the female blonde in Gears 1 to 3, and go look at like the design of like your likes of
Her
like the
name is
female
Anya
characters.
Stroud. All right.
Yeah,
Some of us
Anya.
care about the law. All right. Say a full name. Anya Stroud.
Yeah,
The
the
fuck?
paper thin low in Gears. Yeah.
It's not paper thin. There's like 5 books, bro.
Ay, ay,
Go and read
annihilating.
up.
No,
There's 5 books.
I've
There's 3 comic books, one graphic novel, and if you put in all the notes about the law in the game, just the games themselves, that's another book on its own. So chill.
you know you sound like a nerd. Like the creator
I'm a nerd.
Cliff, Blazinski himself said that all Gears is like a Michael Bay movie. It's supposed to be like Bad Boys. It's supposed to be like Armageddon. Like it's supposed to be like this ridiculous blockbuster.
Have you watched the Michael Bay Transformers movies? There's a ton of law in there, bro. If you pay
Oh,
attention,
of
if you
course.
pay
Look,
attention, the Michael Bay
look.
movies. I love the Michael Bay Transformers movies. I don't know about you guys, but I love them. The one with Shia LaBeouf, where he's screaming the entire time. People like to meme on him. Oh, he's always screaming. He's always running. Okay, what's Tom Cruise doing in most of those Mission Impossible movies?
But like it's interesting actually that's how you brought up Gears, because go back to Gears 1 to 3. That was all, for the lack of a better word, just beefcake. Like these outrageous, like super muscular guys.
Beefcake!
Like
Beefcake!
but I mean, like, look, but no guys complained because we all want to look like that. We all want to be badass with muscles on top of muscles, and that's what most of the like. There were maybe one or two female characters in that game. There was not a lot of female representation, which was never a thing anyway. However, in terms of the dude bro element, in terms of like just everyone being looking like a badass, no guy complained about that. So, but like, we can't have female characters that look badass because females don't want to look badass. The only people that don't want to look badass are people that like the Veil God or any games like that. They that just who are attracted to things that are not conventionally considered
You
attractive.
can't look
And that's my
badass.
problem with these games.
Like Velgard is not badass. Whoever
No,
made
like, what's
Velgard,
badass in Veil God?
there's no attempt at badass. Can we agree on that? Ty Oshis, can we agree that there's no attempt
100%.
to be a badass with Velgard?
Not
Same
from what I
with
gathered.
Avowed.
But hold on. I think this is a natural progression of all art forms, right? When I say that, I mean books, TV shows, movies, and games. And games is not an exception in this context. Think about it. Back in the days, you have Street of Rage, you had Street Fighter, so you had Ryu, you had Ken, you had the typical sexy looking guy. Hollywood was very sexy, like let's sell sex, sex, sex. And so you had Gears of War. Now though, because the industry has just grown and it's not a niche anymore of just teenage boys, they are part of the market for sure. But all these boys have also grown up, and all of them are like crazy for the sexual stuff, that they actually want gameplay, because these people have experienced things like Skyrim, Mario Brothers, Zelda, that had no sex, and those were like some of their most favorite games. So now you have Assassin's Creed with someone like Bayek, who is quite slim fit, that doesn't look nothing like Ryu. You have Nathan Drake, who doesn't look anything like a Ken, but just your typical average guy with not too many muscles. You have character creators in video games now, where you can create your own characters, so you can make them sexy, you can make them fat, you can make them tall, you can make them how you want them to make them. Hogwarts Legacy, one of the best selling games in the last couple of years. Who's
Yep.
sexy there? It's just
Yep.
it's just a kid. So we keep telling these developers basically that, like, we're not actually these horn dogs that you think we are. You can make games that are sexy, but like Ushers will always point out that like Nintendo is the best company for making exclusive IPs. None of the games are sexy.
because they're for
So
10-year-olds, for
no, 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 no,
8-year-olds.
no. But we're not gonna
That's not
say
Blame
true.
them, but
no,
the
no.
target
We're not.
market.
Hold on. We're not gonna say that the most people who are playing Zelda are 10 and 8-year-olds. That's not true.
That's
Well,
not
I mean, like,
true.
what's target? Like, well, actually, that's very true. Like, what is Nintendo's target demographic?
Literally every single body I know who's in the
What
30s,
is
all my friends
But
have
like, you
played
can just
Zelda.
go look, just go Google it, dude. Like, what's
No,
Nintendo's target
of
demographic?
course, of
Who
course,
buys
of
most
course,
Nintendo games?
Nintendo
of course, they've
It's
captured.
target
the same people that follow John Cena. It's the
demographic.
2 to
Oh
5
my
years.
god! Nintendo's target demographic between 16 and 24. Okay, so
So I'm off
that's
by a
new.
few years, but like
That's
literally.
new. That's new.
Yeah.
I didn't
No, no,
think that
no.
was
That checks out 100%. But like, but you see,
okay.
once again, there's a large portion in that Nintendo fan base that in their 30s or 40s that plays
That's still
Zelda,
playing it, yeah.
and none of
I
them
mean,
would ever,
the
none of
thing
them
is,
would ever critique Nintendo and say like, why, where's Zelda's tits?
because of the
Why isn't
fact that
Peach
like
twerking?
that's okay. So this is the thing, right?
What?
It's because
What?
of, it's like who complains about Eloy not being sexy? Let's make that example.
No one.
They're
Why?
losers, obviously. Have you
Why?
not seen them?
What do you mean why? I don't think I think she's ugly. I don't think she's not sexy.
But like nobody,
You can tell
like
she has an athletic. No, no, no. If do you want me to pull up the video? We can pull up a video of Eloy like running. She has an athletic physique and she has pronounced hips. Like if you discount whatever's happening from the neck above, she's like close to a 10, bro.
what?
I
Yeah.
don't think people agree, man. They made videos to make her sexier and prettier and all these things, didn't they?
Really?
I
Yeah,
don't
they put
even
up her
like
face.
who would want to like for me I don't like I feel the same way about that like as I feel about a Nintendo game. Like there's no sort of aesthetic thing I look at like Eloy and I'm like,
No,
ooh,
Vince, I
that's
don't like peach fuzz.
so like
Go.
that's my only thing is that like this is not a rule for everything. I think Taya is overstepping here by saying making the Nintendo comparison. That's absolutely we don't want that from Nintendo. Nobody ever asked that from Nintendo. But if you were a BioWare and you made characters sexier in your previous games, and now all of a sudden you decide that we can just see it that you're not even making female or male body types anymore. It's just type 1, type 2. Slightly like even like with the sliders, like your characters
That's the
don't have they
problem,
all
bro.
look androgynous.
Didn't they do that with Pokemon as well on
They
Nintendo? A
started
couple, I
doing that
think it
with
was last
Pokemon, yeah.
year. I think it was
Yeah.
last year. There was a Pokemon game that came out, and they first off they said player what's it, body type 1, body type 2, and then when you looked at them, they were so similar. People were like, okay, so what's the point? That type of stuff, Ty, that does not win you more fans, bro. It just doesn't. People don't like that type of stuff, man.
The body type 1 and body type 2 discussion is so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things because, like I said, Elden Ring had it and no one seemed to bat an eye because, who cares, right?
No, but that's the thing, and that's why I added the second part, bro. You're just focusing
Oh,
on the
sorry,
stuff that
repeat it.
adds to
I
your
must have missed that.
argument.
My
The
bad. Go ahead.
first part is that they said body type 1, body type 2, and then when you look at the bodies, there's no real actual difference.
Exactly.
Whereas on Elden Ring, it says body type 1, body type 2, sure, but when you look at the options, like, all right, these are clearly very different options. Same thing with Cyberpunk. People
Yeah,
don't
but
like
then,
the
but,
whole
but then, but then
androgynous
we have to
thing.
remember though, like when it comes. So I guess we can actually say this. Yeah, we can take a step back and say this. When it comes to RPG games, if you want to do the whole Western and Eastern, sorry, no, let's just do the West for now. Yeah, from
Yeah,
a Western point of view, there's games that have done body type 1 and 2, and the women are very different, right? So let's say Cyberpunk did that, Baldur's Gate did that, and Kingdom Come Deliverance has at least women who look very, very different. So what RPG games have come out at least in the last like 6 years that we can say, well, they've
yeah.
made the women very, very unattractive, and they've made them look like men. Like, are we counting Avowed?
We're counting.
Yes.
You know what? Listen, I don't want to do this because I actually love the game, but we're
Mhm.
counting games like Starfield.
Starfield is also good.
No.
Yeah, man.
not
I'm
Star.
sorry. Like
No way.
Besides Andreja, bro, come on.
No,
Like
no.
even like all
Wait,
those
wait, hold on, hold
characters
on.
so
There's a
looking.
very big difference between what's the black guy's name again? In Starfield. Uh, come on,
Which
Loki.
black
Your
guy?
favorite game, the black guy, your comrade.
Oh, fuck that guy. The guy that's always getting lost. I'm
His
forgetting
name,
his name.
whatever his name is again. There's a
Barrett.
huge Barrett's. There's
Yeah,
a
Barrett.
big difference between Barrett's body
Man,
and
fuck
Sarah and
Barrett.
Andrea's body. Like, come on, we're
Just
not
a
gonna
side
say
note.
the
No,
same.
no, no,
Quick,
no, no.
quick side note. Fuck Barrett. Seriously, that guy's always getting himself into shit situations, and I'm supposed to go get him.
Hmm.
I just want to quickly say, seriously, fuck Barrett.
Mm.
And he's always acting cool, acting like no, this is happening on purpose. It's like, dude, come on. If I wasn't here, you'd be dead right now. If I wasn't friends with the Crimson Pirates, you'd be fucking dead right now. This guy's acting cool, calm, and collected. Sorry, sorry.
No. The point I was just making is that there's a difference between Barrett's body and Sarah's body, for example. Like there is a difference. Now you can say that Sarah's body is not, I don't know, sexy or like crazy sexy, but Sarah's body is a woman's body. Like that's undeniable.
Starfield, I'm specifically talking about the faces. Starfield,
Yeah, but
I'm
that's just an
specifically
engine. It's
talking about the
ugly.
faces. The female faces on Starfield, I'm sorry, dude, they definitely leaned into the whole androgynous thing.
But
They,
isn't that
they
just like that
at no
that creation
point,
in
well, the only point is with Andreja, but besides Andreja, at no other point did I feel like this is a woman and they leaned all the way into it to be like, all right, this is a woman. It definitely felt like they were trying to tone down the femaleness of the females in
I
Starfield.
there's no woman that I saw in Starfield and I felt this is not a woman. I can't think of
All
any
right.
situation where I was
you're
confused.
you're arguing with a European here, Luke. He,
Not
Yeah,
he
just
that's
a
does not
probably
understand
European.
your frame of reference.
Cautious, not just a European. This guy lives in one of the places where they'll come to your house, bro, if you post the wrong shit. So we need to take this type of stuff into consideration. You could tweet something wrong in Taya's home country and go to jail.
damn
I
straight.
mean, sorry?
Damn
Yeah.
straight.
I thought you were going to
Don't be
deny
talking
that shit. I
don't be
thought you were
talking
going to be
shit
like,
online.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So is
why
that why
you have to
Kai
be
is so
careful.
confident?
That's why you have to be careful on here, Ty.
Nah, listen, the government supports my my stance on all these things. So
Okay,
it's all
okay.
Censorship.
it's all good, bruh.
He's outing himself, ladies and gentlemen. He's a shill. All right.
Well, listen,
Oh, shit.
let me just round off that point real quick.
Okay, okay,
Because
okay.
there's many people coming into the industry now and new developers that you're gonna see these changes for sure. And I think it's gonna be maybe a swing back into something more sexy because these people are coming in and they want to be creative and they want to make characters that look like themselves. That's just really it. So you're
Is
gonna
that
see
why the
these.
characters are so ugly? Because the new developers are fucking overweight and ugly.
I,
Is that what's
Well,
he said
happening?
most
the solid part out loud.
most people are. I mean, if you want to define it as ugly, most people are ugly then, right?
What? I don't think so.
Look, there's a picture of one of the BioWare devs before and after, like, sorry, before Veilguard and during Veilguard. I don't know if you have that picture where he
DM
just
it
looks
to
like
me.
a normal dude, and then in the second one, he's got like all the blue and the
DM
signature
it to
stuff.
me. I want to see it. DM it to me.
Let's see if I can get it here quickly.
Sorry, Ty. Go on. Finish your point, and I
No,
promise
no,
this time we won't interrupt.
no. That's basically we're gonna see these differences
They
and
want to see themselves in
they
the
want to see
art.
themselves. Yeah, for sure.
Bro, if you were so awesome, you wouldn't be a video game developer. You'd be doing shit in the real world.
No, because a lot of like even for example, even stories, right? When you read Lord of the Rings, everyone is superhero like. The elves that can fight, they can do all these
Do you
things.
know
That's
who
old
wrote
school.
The Lord of the Rings?
Sorry.
Do you know who wrote The Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, Tolkien.
An actual war hero, bro. Someone who went out into the world and did some shit. Obviously, this guy has some compelling stories to tell.
For sure. But it doesn't change the fact though um that as time has gone by, George R. R. Martin comes forward and he says, I want to write Game of Thrones and I want to write characters who are similar. For example, Martin said that every single character he wrote in Game of Thrones is him. it's him in some way, shape, or form. Cersei isn't, this supposedly sexy. Well, I think she's supposed to be good looking, right? But she's not some like crazy, maybe sexy bomb. And obviously you have the younger ones like Sansa and Arya. Like they're all different characters with different points of views, and they bring different things to the table apart from their attractiveness. And that's what makes Game of Thrones such a compelling story. Because at some point you can look at some of these characters and think, you know what, I could see myself doing this, I could see myself doing that, or this character kind of looks like me in some way, shape, or form.
I wish, since they're all him, I wish he had brought the spirit of completing the Song of Ice and Fire with him.
I agree.
Now your boy is busy partying there. He's having a good time being rich
Hey
and
man,
famous.
if I was that rich, I'd probably also struggle with deadlines.
Yeah, no, I
I'd
don't
probably
think that
struggle.
book is ever coming out.
But listen, I agree with Oshus that listen, sex does sell, and these things are good to have.
Ah,
However, I think they're just a niche part of a game. Like they're not the priority in making a game. Aesthetic
but
is probably number one.
you know what I would say, right? And I say this as a married man that's also been in various relationships. I would say sexy characters or good looking, yeah, you know what, let me correct that. Good looking characters are just like regular intercourse in a marriage or relationship.
Hmm.
People like to say that sex isn't everything, but I'm telling you guys, if you don't have it, it becomes everything. It's just like money that way. When you have money, money's not everything. There's so many other things in life that you need to focus and think about. But if you don't have money, my brothers, money becomes everything. And it's the same thing with this whole discussion about sex appeal and all this other stuff.
Hmm.
Having a sexy character is not everything. Having attractive characters is not everything.
No, it's
Because
not.
Monster Hunter could have these attractive characters, yes. But guys, the main thing is gameplay, yes. But I'm telling you, if these characters looked like the characters from Concord, this game wouldn't have hit a million this past weekend. I'm not saying it would have completely flopped, but it would not have hit a million players. Because I remember when this thing first got announced, Ushers, me and you saw the comments. We saw the comments. People were thirsting for these characters without the mods.
Yeah, yeah. No, they just had that level of just appeal, man. Make your stuff up. Like I think there's a general metric. It's the same way that like we find certain facial structures attractive. There's a
Simple.
general like it's just like you can literally just throw a stare. Like we all agree on what an attractive woman is, but the problem is the guys who are like responsible who make these games, they fall within that 0.5% that does not agree. So they go out of their way to sort of project that into the
My
games to say,
God.
whoa, 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 you should also find this attractive. And
No.
you
You're,
see this.
ne-
Sorry, go ahead.
you're never going to normalize what's not normal.
And it's funny that you say that because you should see the discussions. Like I'm in a lot of Dragon Age, and in fact, I've left a lot of Bioware groups because of the fact that like the whole argument now became of the fact that when people started to point out that the writing is objectively bad, then they started to say things like, well, have you never spent time with an autistic person who identifies? And I'm like, who has, dude? Like, nobody has. 99.9% of us have not. So you are saying that it was written for that 0.5% of people that will be able to look at that and say,
Get
well,
ready to sell to only that 0.5%. And also, don't forget that 0.5% aren't all gamers.
yeah. No, no, that's not the right one. That's the writer. I'm talking about the sorry, that's the director that you have there, the dude that transitioned. I'm talking about like the other dude. He's just a normal, I suppose. Yeah, he's a dude. I've only got the before picture of him. Sorry, the after picture of him after he joined. But before that, when he was writing for the previous Mass Effect game, he just looked like a normal dude. What is his name?
So it wasn't Corinne Bush. All right.
No, no, it's
But
not Corinne Bush.
thanks for the pick. Thanks for the pick, Vincent Vega. Appreciate the assist. Appreciate it. But yeah,
It's
well, Osis looks for that. Ty, I just wanted to say, dude, like, I don't understand this obsession with fighting to get through something that's not in in our nature, as human beings. Like it'll never be you'll never attract more people for a villainous story. It just won't happen.
No, but you see, but you can though, right? And this is where art becomes really interesting because we started to go beyond what people thought was what people were interested in, right? We started to put female leads. Take Alien, for example. We started to make movies about different cultures. Something like Squid Game started to go worldwide. Bollywood started to become a hit. Nollywood became a hit. The idea of what we all thought was expected, what we expect to sell extremely well, didn't. I'm sure with the
I
reason
would
why
argue against that. Do you know why I would argue against that? I've been
why
watching
would you argue against that?
Japanese and Korean and Bollywood and even Nollywood stuff from Nigeria. I've been watching that stuff since the 90s, bro. I've
Yeah,
been
but
enjoying that
okay.
stuff since the 90s. Do you know why that shit never took off? It's not because the quality was bad. It's because Hollywood was always on point. As soon as Hollywood started slacking, people were like, okay, let me see what else is out there. Same thing with video games, dude. It's
No,
always
I
been
don't. No, I don't
US,
believe that to be true.
Japan.
I think it's exposure to these things that's actually really important. In the same way
But
how
how do people
Japanese
get disposed to it?
Well, in the same way how Japanese games like JRPGs were always being made in Japan, right? If you're a Western guy, you didn't like it. I mean, there was a time when the Western developers, I think it was NG4, whatever the word, they were insulting Japanese games. They thought it was like
N4G.
terrible. N4G, sorry, right? But the
Yeah.
Japanese just kept making their own games because it's our games. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And at some point, people in the West were like, you know what, this are actually dope games. So then we then started to like those games. It wasn't because Western games became crap. It's just because we started to, becoming more exposed to these type of
I
games.
would say it's because the Western games, on average, became crap. That's what I would say.
No, I
In
just I just think people enjoy good stories and they enjoy different ways of playing things. Like for example, like the reason why Persona became a lot more popular is because more people started to play, right? Even like the Xbox guys who said, "Hey, Persona came on Game Pass, and I would never buy this game, but I decided to try it out, and it was good." So I think exposure is really important. And as a maybe publisher, developer, or studio, you don't know what might be the next hit. You don't know if you make a product that isn't targeted. You know what? I'll even give an example. Like, Black Panther, the movie. There is no way Disney thought a black guy that is about Africa is going to sell more than our mainstay superheroes. There's no way they thought it would do a billion of a
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I don't think that was expected. Yeah, yeah,
It
that's
wasn't
fair.
expected, but guess what? They tried it and boom, it worked. And they were like, "Yo, we didn't have naked black people dancing or doing any crazy things. It was just an African like story. Wow, that can happen. Okay, so that's the point. And then even think about it this way. Even sorry, was it DC
You're
Wonder
not
Woman?
going to address the flop of Black Panther 2? Is that what we're doing right now?
I mean, well, we're talking about. Well, we could talk about that now, but that's very
No,
specific.
I'm just saying, if you're going to bring up one, it's important to bring up the second one because the
But
second
what?
the
one
But
flop
it's
of
not. But
every
it's not
other.
relevant.
it directly feeds into my point of like,
Hmm.
yo, people only care about good stories. Like everyone likes to pretend like
But
no,
that is my
the
point.
first Black
That's always
Panther.
been my point.
No, but
That-
my point is that although sorry, not black stories, good stories are good. If your characters look like shit, you're going to have a very tough time. And
yeah.
to prove my point, I'll ask you to name me one, not five, not 10, not 15, one game with a overweight, ugly protagonist that was a overwhelming success, and they ended up making a franchise out of it.
The game that pops in my mind straight away, it's not overweight, but it's that Abe's Odyssey game from
So
the 90s
But
or
you have
that
to
was
bring
a
up an
clone.
alien,
That's not a
and also you have
multi-million.
to bring up an alien. Also, you have to bring up an alien. That's not even a human being. Okay,
we don't
I'll
answer
let you
this.
try. I'll let you
Yeah,
try
yours.
one more time after I address the chat. I'll let you like for the next two
Okay.
minutes. Just keep trying, right? Keep thinking. Google that shit. Find that. I'm asking for one game that was a monumental success, became a franchise with a fat, ugly character. One.
Super
Uh,
Mario.
well, oh, fuck off.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, he's not gonna allow that one. So
Well,
fair
he's not
enough.
ugly. He's not ugly. Welcome in, Rachie. Says Mexican cinema was better in the 70s than anything Hollywood did. You know what? I don't even doubt it in terms of story writing because I absolutely love Brazilian telenovelas. And people like to talk
Right.
about, ooh, American TV shows. Dude, you want drama? You want real drama? Go and watch you some Brazilian novellas. That is wild stuff. Rachie says between 2004 2013 was the dark ages of the JRPG.
So I sent
Voidlock,
it.
welcome in. Voidlock says Kirby again. Voidlock, that's not a human. And second of all, Kirby is not ugly.
He's
Kirby
cute,
is cute. We
and he's
know
pink.
this from all of these plushie sales. All right, you will not be gaslighting us today, my brother. That is not happening. Try again, Kirby. Try again. All right, so Usher sent us the picture. Okay, so Usher, let me hold up. Let me put this picture up so you can give us the context of who this person is and what's going on. All right, go ahead, Usher.
Yeah, so that's the lead writer. He also was affected by the recent layoffs at BioWare, and so that is the one picture is when he was working on the previous BioWare games. I believe he worked on Dragon Age and the Mass Effect series, and he just looks like a normal guy. And then all of a sudden, fast forward a little bit, towards that what call it, the Veilguard era, and the guy, yeah, and then
What do you mean, yeah? The fuck does
well, I
yeah
mean,
mean?
like he changed his pronouns. He changed, like he became almost like a different person, which is why, like as the lead writer, he was okay with a lot of the writing or the direction of the writing because he felt maybe he was going through that. And a lot of the guys, like for instance, in a lot of these groups, they will say, you know what, we get it, and it's great for us to have these stories told and being shown. I'm like, yes, I get that, but I'm just saying that the writing being the way it was did not accurately represent you to people that are not part of your interest group. A lot of other people don't get it. You get it because you're part of that. So it's very difficult for me to explain to you why the game failed if you feel that everything, including the writing, was correct because it represented you. So
Okay.
yeah, but like, yeah, let me just get you like a quick bio of the guy.
All right. While you check the bio, Fuzzy Tomato welcome and says, "Bro, you can't really be offended by blue hair LMAO. That's insane." Oshus, I think that was for you. But while you're searching up the bio, I will respond to this real quick. I kind of agree with this. Like, I don't see a problem with the blue hair, right? Um, but like a lot of people have pointed out recently, um, you dress to be addressed and how you look matters, okay? And when you put this look on, you are projecting something. There's definitely something you are projecting. And to Oshus's point, you can want to make the game for what you're projecting, but if what you're projecting is the minute minority, like it's not even the usual minority of like 10%. No, no, it's like the minute minority. So like point something percent. If that's what
So
you want to make your game for, and you spent 50, 100, 150 million, that doesn't seem like a wise decision. Like in my opinion, if you're spending that much money, you don't want to reduce the potential customer base to point something percent, in
so
my humble opinion.
I've got the guy's name, look. So, and his
Okay.
bio is like short bio. Um, I don't know if you're like, but you let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah. So his
You
name is
want me to
Trick
look it up?
Weeks. Like it's a very weird. His name is Trick Weeks. So he's actually like his freaking credentials, my man, like are outstanding. I mean, the
Okay.
guy is educated. He actually graduated in Stanford and
That's
studied like
nice.
science fiction. And dude, he's been with BioWare since 2005. and he's written for characters like Modern Solace, Talizora, Jack, Kasumi. These are like exceptional characters. This is like A-tier writing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
quote almost each and every one of these characters, like, phrases. Samantha Trainer. So he's written for some top tier characters. Look, this is where it escapes me. Even in Dragon Age Inquisition, he wrote for Iron Bull, Solus, Krim, and Cole. The others are not as popular, but like again, he's got like a very, very sort of like solid history of great, consistent writing from 2005 up until recently. So for me, this is where the disconnect comes in: is that does when a person change their lifestyle, does that mean like the way that they approach things like writing also changes? Because I could tell like with these other characters that those were targeted at any nerd that sort of like either is into science fiction or fantasy. Whereas the new ones like have nothing to do with any of those settings.
I guess you've answered your own question, Oshis.
I guess.
Because
That
clearly, for me, I would like to defend this guy for 2 seconds, real quick. Do people not have the right to change? Like as time goes by, do they not have the right to? Like I'm not the same person today that I was even a year ago. And if you go
I
2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, dude, I'm unrecognizable from the guy that was there. So at some point we have to give some grace and be like, yeah, man, he changed, he evolved.
agree.
I think bringing up Trick is actually very interesting. I know who he is, and but I'll say this.
Have you had
Uh,
lunch with him?
yeah, man, they were homies, bro. But on a serious
Hey,
note,
take
one
off
thing.
your hat. I
No,
just want to
listen.
say something.
What thing you can say about EA then is this: is that they looked at his pedigree, his history, and you can see how they said, "Yeah, we trust you because you're the one who did this." So when people make it seem like, well, EA is part of the evil publishers, like no, they're not. They are publishers, and they're looking at their staff who did all these amazing accomplishments. And when he says, "Trust me, guys, this is what is people want to hear," you gotta imagine that when Trick was writing Mass Effect 2 and 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition, EA probably went to him and said, "We don't want that." And he says, "Trust me." And they did. And it ended up great. So in the same situation for Vilgard, that probably did happen as well. Now, what I will say for Vilgard is that it's different. For the previous games, he was the lead, he was just a writer or senior writer or lead writer. I think and those are for the DLCs. But Vilgard seems to be the game where he is the one in charge. And it seems that, obviously you have other writers on your team, and maybe he's not a good manager. Maybe he didn't know how to edit everyone's stories. Maybe he
Or
was a
maybe
bit
he's just
too
good at following instructions. This is the first time he got the opportunity to lead, and then
exactly.
we found out that this is what his vision looks like, and it's like, oh, okay, no thanks.
Oh, because another thing that's really important is just because you're right, does like some writers can be good, but it's not actually them that's good. It's the editors because
Exactly,
they have good stories and it's all over the place. And the editor says, "Okay, we're gonna take this out and this and this and this.
exactly.
Now we have a perfect story." So
Yeah.
it's put the truth is he probably just this is just probably who he is as a writer. He's probably maybe not that good, maybe just not a good manager or leader. So not to defend EA here, but I could
Mhm.
see how this
Sounds
happened.
like a defense, but okay, go ahead, bruv.
But
Yeah, but it all kind of like pans out, like it makes sense.
to me, like again, like if I look at just character writing and like the lack of
Yo, Rachie says, excuse me, the pronoun is Sonic the Hedgehog.
that's a
Oh
good one.
man, go ahead.
Like I mean, like for instance, a modern Solace is such a complex character. I mean,
Yes.
Tally from and he wrote specifically for these characters. I mean, Jack, I could see a little bit of him writing Jack there, but like Kasumi is another very well thought out character with a very good backstory. Like in his individual writing, his weaknesses don't show. Samana Trainer is the only one I agree with Reichi. That's a little bit suspect, and that was of course in that stupid section with the Commander Shepard clone, which was meant to be funny in the Citadel DLC. But Samantha Trainer is the only character here that I look at and say, that's a bit weak. The ones in Dragon Age though, like Krim, I can't even remember. Oh jeez, oh yeah, I remember this dude. Cole, I kind of remember. Like Iron Bull, of course, definitely he's one of the key members of your team. But these the Dragon Age
All right, we're not
characters,
gonna name all the characters, bro. Get to your
they
point.
they're a bit weak. They are, in my opinion. But like all the Mass Effect ones were good. That stuff was on point.
But keep in mind that for people who did play Veilguard, not the people who hate it or just talk about it, people who actually played it have said, no, the writing is inconsistent. Like
Oh
there's
my
some good
god.
stories
Wait, are
here.
you gonna go with this argument that if you didn't play it, you can't criticize it?
No, 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 no. I'm talking about the people who are just saying it sucks, but they actually haven't given a fair
I'm saying
critique.
it sucks. I haven't played it.
Based on what?
Based on what?
Why does it suck?
Based on all the little excerpts that I've seen on the internet.
Yeah, but an except doesn't define a game. Like you could see 2 minutes of a game that's like 70 hours long. Like that's not a review of a game, right? We can't
So
I think
condemn a
it
game
does.
based
I think
on
it
that.
does. You know why?
No, because
Because people
I
make
could find any
decisions.
clip. I could find any clip on Metal Gear Solid and say
Yeah?
this game is trash.
Yeah.
it's cringe.
Yes.
Cringe,
Yes.
yeah, cringe.
You can
That's
do
Cringe
what
is
you
the
that.
word.
describe Metal Gear Solid as is
You can
cringe.
do that. But
Hmm.
Tai, when you say that, you won't get millions of people saying, "Oh yeah, facts."
Well,
You
Well,
won't
well,
get a chorus. Let me finish. You won't get a chorus of silence to your statement. You will get a whole lot of people saying, "Hold on, young man, let's have a discussion. What are you talking about?" Whereas, and this is even ignoring the fact that the crazy amounts of like sales that the games had, right? I'm even giving you the grace of let's pretend this motherfucker didn't sell like hotcakes. Let's even pretend that. Even then, even then, just the sentiment in the public, in my opinion, it matters. So we can't sit here and pretend like no, Metal Gear was one of the most hated games. Metal Gear launched and then 6 months later they were giving it away for free. Metal Gear, if you went back in the day, because it's an old game, right? If you went to the store back in the day, there was a whole bunch of returned copies like a week after it launched. That's not what happened. So if you want to have that, if you want to have this discussion just for the sake of trying to win points with me, against me, sorry, on this specific topic, that's fine. But if you want to be genuine about the discussion, then we can't have this discussion because objectively, you cannot touch that specific franchise. Whereas with Dragon Age, it's on PS Plus. It's not even 6 months old. Everyone lambasted it except for game developers and sorry, not game developers, except for the what's it, the games media, who
IGN.
very curiously, everyone had the exact same talking point. Everyone said return to form. Everyone. We
I
cannot put these two in the same hemisphere, brother, when discussing this issue. So let's chill.
but I'm very specific with more of my critique on people who have thoughts on the game, right? So if somebody says Veilguard sucks, my first question is, why does it suck? Don't tell me woke trash.
can
That
I
doesn't that says
can I ask
absolutely
you? Can
nothing.
I answer your question?
Oh, so you're telling me those cutscenes didn't happen? All those
No,
cutscenes
like
that everyone made, that didn't happen.
In a
That was a
game that in
figment.
a game
That
that
was a
has
figment
in a
of my
game that has
imagination.
in a game that has content over 90 hours, where in that specific cutscene you're referring to, you're pressing the buttons to actually get to that cutscene. If you get to that cutscene and then you're saying that this 4 minute section that I have navigated to get towards has made this game trash, but then that doesn't tell me about the game. Doesn't tell me about the story. Doesn't tell me about the characters. Doesn't tell me
As
anything.
far
In
as far
fact,
as I'm
well,
concerned,
I'll say this. Well, I'll say this. Look, your guy who came on, the guy from, is it the Netherlands or Belgium? He said he thought the game was woke trash too. Then he said his wife wanted to play it and he bought it. And he said 20 hours in, the game
yeah.
is okay. He says, I don't get why people think the game is so bad. I haven't seen anything that's woke yet. So that's somebody who's saying that the general public told me this game was this. I purchased it and the game isn't this. I haven't seen this yet because all those clips that you're seeing are very specific. You have to go looking for those clips. So that doesn't
Well,
tell me
the
about the
reason
game.
the reason why I categorically disagree with this assumption that, oh no, that game failed because people talked crap on it
But I
is
never
that
said that.
people tried to crap on Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we need to pick a lane here.
But that's not my
Can
argument.
I answer Taya's
does the
question, Hulk?
Go
all
ahead.
right, all right, go ahead.
Because
Oh,
he's saying, is the
sorry.
game?
Before you do, I just want to talk to Fuzzy here. Fuzzy says so. Ignore all his accomplishments and shit on him because he has blue hair. Good point. Good point, Fuzzy.
I've got an
And
answer for that as well for Fuzzy.
we already well, at least I already addressed it. We're saying that, hey man, are people not allowed to change? But I guess Oshus has some sauce for that as well. So Oshus, start with the sauce for Fuzzy and then go to Taya. Go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I mean, I think we talked through his accomplishments and we acknowledged the fact that, like, we were the first ones to say that those characters were well written. So we're not ignoring that. I was just asking, for me, like, is there then a correlation with him changing his, his lifestyle to and being in a position where he can now write the sort of characters that he wants? So he decided to write for a very specific demographic. And to me, I think that hurt the game, and I think we can be honest about that. It doesn't say anything about, maybe he's very good at targeting that specific audience that we don't get it at all. So there is a correlation there
So
somewhere.
good, no one showed up. Okay, sure.
So,
Now
and then I was
respond
going to
to Taya.
answer Ty's point about, is Veilguard objectively a bad game? Absolutely not. Same with Avowed. Avowed, for what it is objectively not a bad game, but it is bad for what it's supposed to be. Let's take case in point, the Veilguard. The Veilguard is a horrible. It's a horrible, what call it? First of all, Dragon Age game, and it's a horrible Bioware game. Like, if you're a BioWare fan and you expect certain things, like mechanically, story wise, writing, world building from BioWare, that game does not tick any of those boxes or fails to tick a lot of those boxes. Now, if you're just looking for a generic role playing game that plays well, that's shiny, that has God of War gameplay and sort of actual RPG mechanics, then it's a good game. It's a good 7 out of 10, maybe lower 8 out of 10 game. Same with Avowed. If you're looking for a passable RPG made by a double A studio, and you're not expecting this to come from a studio or a company that coined the term quadruple A, which is Microsoft and Xbox. If you're not expecting that game from a quadruple A studio, then there's nothing wrong with that game. And also, if you're not a fan of like more darker fantasy RPGs like Skyrim, then you will not be disappointed. It's not a bad game. None of those games are objectively bad. The only problem is that it's the same thing I said with South of Midnight. Find the right market and target them at that market and understand your expectations. You're not going to sell 12 million from a niche market like the kind of people that you're marketing Dragon Age, the Veilguard to, or Avowed to.
On
Uh,
this, I think
Fuzzy
we
says
actually agree.
finally. Fuzzy says, Lokes, 99% of the hate train stuff about Velgard came from two scenes that went viral in a game that had a whole team of writers. Bro,
Exactly.
I'm not even trying to argue about who is to blame about that. I'm just trying to be consistent as always. If you can walk a concept forward, it must be able to walk backwards. If you can sit here and be like, dude, I saw I saw one or two scenes on a trailer for Elden Ring and I was sold, then it must be able to work the other way around. Otherwise, we don't really believe what we're saying. We're just saying it because it's convenient when things are positive. When it's negative, it's like, no, 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 give it a chance. Right? If we follow this line of thinking, then when Doom came out and everyone lost their minds just because of the mechs, just because of the gun that has skulls. It's like, no, 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 no. It might be shit. That's not what happened. We saw everyone took one or two things and ran with it in the positive direction. It can happen in the negative direction. It's the people who make the game. It's their responsibility to make sure that the product they put out does not have one or two things or moments that people can run in the negative direction. That's all it is.
But look, you're talking about marketing now, right? So, for example, if I was playing,
No, I'm
if I
responding
saw,
specifically. I'm responding specifically to what Fuzzy's saying.
Yeah, no,
But
and I'm doubling on that because what I would say is like if you saw Doom and Doom had mechs in the chair and you
yeah,
said that shit looks cool,
okay,
then you bought the game based
yeah.
off that. That's a whole different thing. If you're saying because it has mechs, it's a good game, that means nothing. What's the gameplay like? What's the story like?
Exactly, Ty. But
Yes,
no one's sitting here criticizing people that sat there and said guns that have skulls for bullets. I'm a day one. No one sat there the same way you and anyone else in the chat that wants to criticize people that said, "Yo, I saw these crazy ass discussions in Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'm out." We don't see y'all's energy when people say, "I saw skulls being crushed to become ammo in Doom, and I saw mechs. I'm in." We didn't see any of y'all being like, "No, no, you can't make decisions on two positive things. How dare you? There's still the whole game left." None of y'all said nothing like that. So if we can say it going forward, we must be able to say it backwards, brother.
well, that's
That's
the
all I'm
mark.
saying.
Well, no, that's the marketing point of view. I'm saying that I can't
And what
say
I'm
a.
telling you is that it's
Uh-huh.
your responsibility as a developer to make sure that your marketing holds up. Your marketing can't be put in a position where you do your little marketing on this side and then people grab something that has nothing to do with your marketing, but it's still in your game. And
That's
then that becomes the slogan for your game. It's your responsibility, brother.
Yeah, but what we were really initially talking about was is the game good or bad? And I'm saying that based on a few scenes where the game is a large, a pie of 80 hours or 90 hours, that is not enough to say a game sucks. For example, when one of the GameSpot reporter person was playing the game said that, well, I'm not really a fan of Cyberpunk because Black Lives Matter and you have to work with the police. Even if that's true, even if you felt that way, the idea that it's one mission where you have to work with the police and the game has probably 80 hours of more content of very different types of missions for you to dismiss the game and say it sucks because of one mission out of like 60 is not a review of the product. It's a
But that's
review
what's
of your
beautiful about
feelings.
that's the beautiful thing about customers, Ty. You know that old saying of the customer's always right. I know. We live in a post-truth world where that's not true. But when the rubber meets the road, that is literally true. Does the customer like what I'm making? It doesn't matter that what you're making is quote unquote moral. Does the customer like it? They don't like the rabbit catching and then petting simulator game. They like the rabbit shooting game. It doesn't matter what you think is moral, what you think is objectively correct. What matters is the majority of people look at Doom, they look at the mechs, they look at the skulls being used as ammo, and they get a hard on. They look at Avowed, they see one or two, sorry, not Avowed, they see Velga, they see one or two excerpts, and they're like, "Oh, I'm out." It doesn't matter that you think that's wrong. It just is. It's like saying you want to fight gravity. Dude, it's just like the discussion we were having just now about overweight and ugly characters. It doesn't matter that the right thing to do is to want to play as an overweight, ugly character. It doesn't matter what the right thing is. What matters is you want to sell a product, and 90% of gamers don't want to play your product. Your product is moral. Osh's product is a degenerate piece of filth, filled with goon and stuff. But Osh's product is
Peace,
going to
man.
sell, and you are going to be announcing layoffs in 6 months. That's all it is, and that's what makes it true. The outcome. The outcome is that Osh's Guna game is a masterpiece, and your socially acceptable PC uh, all these positive things circa 2025, right? Your game sucks because no one cares, no one bought it, no one's into it. It's whatever. That's what I'm saying. Voidlock says he likes the gameplay of Dragon Age. Story was mid. Fuzzy says if you saw two clips of me playing Elden Ring, you'd think the game sucked. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Fuzzy. Again, Fuzzy, you're gonna make this a low rant episode, but I don't care. I don't care. Your two clips of Elden Ring won't go viral. No one's watching Fuzzy's two clips. Everyone's watching Let Me Solo Her clips. I don't know if Ushers and Ty, I don't know if you guys know who Let Me Solo Her is.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
the guy
con-
with the bucket on his head and
this guy became famous
yeah.
for beating Michaela by himself. You summon him, and then you just sit in the corner and watch him destroy Michaela. He's naked, doesn't have any armor, just wailing on her. He knows all of her mechanics, etc., etc. But the point is that those viral clips make people go, "I'm gonna go buy Elden Ring," and that's because the people that made Elden Ring, they made it so well that that's what goes viral. If you make a product that what goes viral is the absolute worst parts of your game, that's on you, brother. Because if it's not on you, that means that Miyazaki, right? He's not. We can't give him credit for Elden Ring. We can't give him credit for any of the Souls game, but we give him all the credit because he had the success. So when someone else has the failure, we have to give him all the credit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Retro, up the villa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fuzzy says the one woke thing that bothers me is that Spider-Man isn't allowed to work with the police anymore in Spider-Man 2. I didn't play Spider-Man 2, so actually I did play it for like 5 seconds, and I was like, oh, I'm out. I can't deal with Miles's voice. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Raichi, The Last of Us Part 2 golf club ruined the game. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what, Raichi? Tai, this is another opportunity to reiterate my point. Me and Raichi absolutely hate The Last of Us Part 2 because of the golf club scene. And it's not just me and Raichi. It's a whole lot of people that hate The Last of Us Part 2 because of what happened with Joel. Do you know what happened? The Last of Us Part 2
I'm aware.
sold a lot. You know why? Because although that went viral, a whole lot more positive stuff went viral, and people made decisions based off of that. And it is what it is. I've made peace with it. So if I can sit here and admit that, can we at least admit, guys, if Velga didn't take off, it's not because people hated on it. The game sucked. Come on. Why are we being disingenuous?
I think the game is mid, but like a game sucking is like what is that, King Kong or the Golem game, right? To
Golem.
me, those are games that just like they are low effort. There's not a lot of production or any sort of effort put into it. To me, that's what a sucky game is like. Those games, unfortunately, they fell into a situation where they were weaponized
They
for
fell all
other
right.
yeah, they did. They were weaponized by either side, whether you are on the pro or anti woke side, and they just happen to be in the middle of that, and they happen to be mid in a time where there's just too many 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 games. Actually, 9 out of 10 games if you're on PlayStation 5, and a lot of 8 out of 10 and
Oh, buzz off.
lower 7 games
Off
if
with
you're on
your
Xbox.
Xbox stuff.
But
Oh
but
my.
but I'm just talking first party. Third party, I mean, you've got like what is this? Capcom, who's crushing it.
Starfield's a nice out of 9 out of 10.
No,
I would say
Starfield.
8 out of 10.
That was an eight,
Starfield's a
bro.
9 out of 10.
The only 9 out of 10 they have is Indiana Jones, bro.
Probably Forza.
Oh yes, and Forza, which of course is now a PlayStation game. Um, it's funny how all the 9 out of 10 games find themselves to PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Even the ones on Xbox,
They
they
keep the
both
shit
went
ones
to
for
PlayStation.
Xbox.
Like,
Keep the good
they'll
ones
keep all the
away.
8 out of 10s on Xbox, huh? Phil.
You guys, seriously, yeah, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. And we will be addressing the Xbox situation, especially after what Reforge posted today. Did you guys see Reforge's shorts
Yeah.
that he posted? I,
The
I
first
I know you saw it, Oshis. Ty, did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. I know somebody did a repost, but I didn't see it. Something about like exclusives are important, was it?
No,
Okay.
no. He was talking about the people that be out here convincing people that no, it's actually
all these
fine.
ones.
Ah, yeah, I saw that.
What did you sneeze there? Oshis?
No, like I don't know.
Yo, there will be no slander for friends of the channel. Right? There'll be
I like
no.
Colt. Like he's always like he's the guy that actually got me back into Xbox watching his channel. He makes great content, that dude. He makes high quality content. Um it's a pity that he's become a mouthpiece for the downfall of Xbox.
All right. To end the topic, Rachie says gaming development is hard nowadays. Developers need to compete against cheap, well optimized 2010 2020 games. Just look, Sony smashing Xbox by releasing PS4 games. I
Yep.
I, I don't think Xbox. I don't think Sony is smashing uh, Xbox by releasing PS4 games. I think they're smashing Xbox by just riding the wave of the momentum that they created in 2000 in the PS4 generation, and Xbox shooting itself in the foot, because I stand by my assertions that I've made in the past. If Xbox, after all these acquisitions, had elected to be like, no, everything's staying exclusive, I still believe that we would have actual competition in the AAA side, by come next generation. In my opinion, I still think that would have happened, but they chickened out, and well,
It's
it is
it's
what.
a it's a. I always like I get what you're saying, and I know Usher said the same thing. Pretty much everyone said something similar. But I always look at like the economics of it and the projection. I don't see how even like the games would be different unless we're saying that Xbox would create new studios to bolster their the Xbox console itself. And that's the part that I can't like I don't see any evidence of that part happening. So that's the part where I find it very hard to like draw the
No,
conclusion.
what I'm talking about is, if Xbox had been like, all right, so we own Activision, we own Bethesda. I don't know who else they own, because they own. It seems like they own everyone at this point. Whatever, everything we own, we're only releasing on Xbox and on PC. And as for the losses that they would take, this is the reason why even Jim Ryan was like, ah, fuck, we're in trouble, because Jim looked at the financial might that Microsoft had, and he was like, dude, if we made this purchase and we were Microsoft, we would take the losses that we're going to make on Call of Duty, for example, or whatever, right? In the short term, but in the long term, we would dominate. And I think it would work the exact same way if Xbox did it. And they have the well, I'm not going to sit here and count the pockets of Microsoft. I don't know exactly how much they've allocated to Xbox, but in theory, at least, this is me guessing and postulating, they would have the money to go the entirety of the rest of this generation, taking financial L after financial L, only only releasing these games on Xbox and PC, and then by the start of the next generation, they'd be in a much better situation. Because if you look at all the games that they've released so far, so it's a very good cadence. if all of these games are like, yeah, this is Xbox and forget about it. It's just Xbox and forget about it. Xbox PC, Xbox PC, Xbox PC. At some point, people would then start making the cost benefits analysis when the next gen came out and be like, dude, should I get a PlayStation? Well, actually, you know what? Even if they do get a PlayStation, do you know why they would get a PlayStation? I would venture to guess that if Xbox was serious and did what we were all guessing they would do when they were making these acquisitions, PlayStation wouldn't be as dry as it is right now. I think with all of these shifts and more and like throwing up the white flag that Xbox is doing, I'm guessing PlayStation is like, oh, fellas, ladies, take your time. Remember that game you had to get out by 2025? It's not a problem. Polish it and make it even more extravagant, make it even better. And then when it comes out, guess what? It's not going to Xbox. So in my fantasy world that I guessed and thought would occur, Xbox would be actually competing with PlayStation and blocking all of these kumbaya situations of sharing games, and then PlayStation by being dry and Xbox popping off the way they've been popping off in the last 2 years, PlayStation would be like, "I, Joe, no fucking around. You need to start releasing stuff." So what would happen is on the one hand, Xbox would be competing on the and also on the other hand, what would happen is that PlayStation would not be as lazy and chill as they are right now. And this is me just guessing. But again, at the end of the day, although I have a PS5 and an Xbox, I'm on PC, so I get everything. It is what it is. Um,
I agree with that point. Like I think like again it's this whole thing of Xbox always pivoting and never having a showcase strategy in terms of like how to you need to aim for something and like in terms of us as
stick to
gamers
it.
like and stick to it. And the thing is Xbox pivots every couple of freaking months. They've got a new strategy. There's a new thing that they're doing. There's a new direction that they're going. And the problem with all those directions is that a lot of them don't have their core gamers in mind. They never think about their core gamers and their core audience. Because even a lot of this, like you talk about, like for instance, like the financial situation. The financial situation, they created that to begin with. Like your games are not going to sell if you have a subscription service that immediately cannibalizes sales, and you've proven that, and you're on a record saying that. That yes, our sales will never be as good. So come up with a better strategy where you don't have to sacrifice your first party games. Like no, they won't. Like because they've decided to do this. Like for me, like their logic is so irrational. Because this is not rocket science. It's like what like Reforge was saying. It's like it's not rocket science. Nothing has changed except Xbox. Everyone is still doing the same thing, and it's working except Xbox. They're the ones trying to convince you that freaking piss is wine, and then everyone prefers piss.
Hey man, Game Pass is awesome for me. I'm not gonna sit here and cap it.
No,
I
Game
live
Pass
in a
is
I live
awesome.
I live in a third world country, and if I had to buy every single game that I want to play, I'd be spending $100 every few weeks.
No,
So,
absolutely. Game Pass is great value, dude. No one is doubting that. But put conditions and terms that are gonna make games still. Don't make your games available day and date on Game Pass. Your exclusives. Give them some time. Give a window. Give preference to people that actually buy games. Give them some benefits and some like you know what you buying games on Xbox. This is the benefits that you're going to get. And like but differentiate your service so that it's not just a service but you're still rewarding the people that buy games and that collect games that they just want to rent games for a certain period of time. They didn't do any of that. They just doubled down on one thing and then it didn't sort of work after a while and they just decided to become a publisher. And then I look at that and I say to me like these guys are not people you can take seriously, especially if you're going to be investing. If you can only buy one console, the worst thing you could do is buy an Xbox in my opinion.
but I disagree with you, Ashish. I think the day and date Game Pass thing is not a problem. The problem is it's day and date and it's everywhere. I think
Well,
that's
I
the
mean,
problem.
when it was
'Cause-
just day and date, my man, they were still not making enough sales of just that day and date because people were just not prompted to go and buy those games if they can just get it on Game Pass. So you need to make it a little bit of because, and again, Look at game like again. People used to joke about this, saying like it's Game Pass 4 it's going to be a double A game. But look at the quality of like, dude, like Avowed for a game that took 6 years. I don't care how big that team is.
Doom looks clean.
They could have supersized that team. But like for a game that took that long for it to look like a game from like 2012, bro, get the fuck out of here.
2012 is an exaggeration, I should say. Avowed doesn't look
Maybe a
like it's
slight
from
exaggeration.
2012.
Maybe 2014,
Yeah,
peak 2014.
2012 is a bit much. It's a bit much.
How
Ty, what?
much Game Pass as how sorry, how much consoles do you attribute to Game Pass sales?
I don't even think Microsoft can do that.
I don't think anyone's buying a console for Game Pass.
Game Pass. I think that is the like nobody is supporting X. I think
No, no,
Phil
no.
Spencer
I
learned
think
that quickly.
I would say 80% of the people on Xbox are paying Game Pass, in my opinion.
Yes, because when you're already on the platform, it just makes sense.
It makes
But no
sense.
one is moving to Xbox just for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like Xbox has done nothing to boost, PlayStation's versus numbers. What I mean by versus is like numbers versus like Sony. Like they've done nothing for sales for hardware. Absolutely, and it's the same reason, in my opinion, they probably pivoted and became a publisher because they knew that they could never sell hardware of Game Pass. You can't use a service to sell hardware unless the service is built within the hardware, which is what is it, other guys? Google tried to do, and that didn't work either.
Not if you ask Ty. Ty will tell you that Google Stadia was awesome.
It was
Tell
an
him, Ty.
awesome service, but it was very poor. Like
It
overall,
was
it was
shit.
great.
That's why it's dead. Awesome, awesome survives. Awesome succeeds.
No, it doesn't. The Sega Dreamcast was awesome, and it died.
Ex- ex-
N64 was pretty good as well.
Dude, you're just reiterating my point.
Oh, no, I think like my point is it's
No.
very definitive. Like there's a lot of awesome shit that dies because
Time and
main
place is important.
yeah, like something might be awesome, but it might not be the right time or the right release date
Well, your
or
timing wasn't awesome. Your product and your timing needs to be on point, brother.
no,
What?
absolutely. For
Well,
you to be successful, absolutely, but it doesn't make it less. Just because something is not successful, look, I think that's another thing that you need to sort of like clear up is that success doesn't mean or quality does
all right,
not
nine
equal
times out of
sales.
10. 9 times out of 10, Oshers. Do
No, like
successful
FIFA
things.
sells. Look, what are the best? What's the best selling like games in the world? It's Madden and FIFA, and they're garbage every year.
And that's why I said 9 times out of 10. If you go and check the top 10 selling games of each year, I'd be willing to bet that 9 times out of 10, which is the majority of the games that sold well in that year, are good games. We just like to sit there and be like, no, but FIFA. Like, yeah, sure, FIFA, sure, Madden, but okay, let me see the entire list. The
But
entire
how
list
many
is
FIFA
Well,
and
it's
Madden
it's
FIFA
it's
doesn't
FIFA, Madden 2K, it's MLB The Show, it's
yeah.
what's the other shooting game that came out? Like it's a lot of very multiplayer games. The Baldur's Gate 3s, the Starfields, all these games they make the list, but like in comparison to the other single player games that are good, you don't really see them up there.
When
Yeah,
you
no,
come
like
uh,
quality and sales doesn't necessarily equal quality. You can say there's some type of correlation there to some extent, but Alan Wake 2, they only started making their money back recently. This is a game that got numerous game awards. Hi-Fi Rush, only 3 million
all right. All
players.
right, let's do this. Let's do this. I just opened the game rant. Pick thingy with the top 20 selling games of 2024. Call of Duty, right? EA Sports College Football does not fall into the Call of Duty group. The last one to come out was in 2014. So it's not a yearly release. Helldivers 2. Last time I checked, that's not a yearly release. That was number 3 last year. Number 4 was Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I don't know, but maybe they do release these games annually, but I haven't
yeah,
seen it.
but those are
Right?
franchises, aren't they? Those are
Next,
all franchises.
dude. Again, these are we were talking about. Oh, it's only annual releases. Now we're moving the goalpost to no, no, no. It's a
No,
game. That's a game that has predecessors. So now we're
there
like,
are
no, no,
all
no.
Yes.
Now you're gonna put words in my mouth. Now it's like, no, Loke said the top selling games is one-off games that came out for the first time. That's not what I said. I'm just saying most of the times the games that are the highest selling are good games. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You know what? Fuck. I even let you guys move the goalpost for me. I shouldn't have let you do that, Ty. I'm gonna wrench that shit back. Black Ops 6 was a very good game. I
How
don't
about
care if it
how about
was
the one before?
I don't care if it was an annual release.
How about the one before?
My point is that the majority of games that are topping the sales charts on an annual basis are good games. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was a good game. EA Sports college football highest selling game in 2000 in the US actually. Ham is the one who told me this one. I didn't even know about that. Then he sent me the link. Helldivers 2 good game. Dragon Ball Z good game. NBA 2K25 okay that's a shit game. Matt said it was shit. Madden NFL 25 usually shit. I haven't heard anything good about 25. So two bad games. Modern Warfare 3 was a good game. EA Sports FC 25 okay, that was a shit game. Elden Ring. I can't believe Elden Ring is still in the top 20 selling games in 2024. That's crazy. EA Sports MVP bundle. Okay, that's a bundle. I don't think it counts. Hogwarts Legacy is still what the fuck? Hogwarts Legacy is still here. Okay. Dragon's Dogma 2. That's a banger as well. WWE 2K24. My cousin plays the WWE games. He says 2024 is actually good. MLB The Show, good game. Ham played it, said it was a good game. Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the best games. Minecraft, I think it's shit, but everyone's addicted to it. I don't know. I can't explain it. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, very good game. Tekken 8, you guys don't even want me to get into that. Marvel Spider-Man 2, okay, that's another shit game. That's fine. NBA 2K24, okay, another shit game. Either so those are the 20 top selling games of 2024. In my opinion, the majority of these bangers. It's that simple. At least that's how I see it. It's that simple. What's this? Richie, thank you for the $2 Canadian. Look, I sent you a 30-second video about Xbox. Share. Oh my goodness, what is this? All right, so while I try to share this, while I try to have share this, Oshus and Ty, do you guys still disagree with my assertion that on average, the majority of the highest sellers are good games? You guys still disagree?
I'm not gonna say Call of Duty is a bad game or even Fortnite is a bad game or this kind of stuff. That's not
Fortnite
really
was not on the list.
that's but you see that's not I wasn't even disputing that claim. My statement was quite different. That you cannot measure a game's quality based on sales. You can say there's some type of correlation, but it doesn't
And
mean
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's correlation.
I'm saying that's not the end or be all. Now
I'm saying
you might say 90% is the correlation. I'm saying it's less than that.
I'm saying it's safe. It's safe. You can safely make your decisions on what games you're going to buy from last year based off of what was the highest selling games.
I
From the
can
list,
pretty much say that let's say Alan Wake 2, for example, they started making their money back. The game was only sold like a couple of millions.
Alan
Hi-Fi Rush,
Walk. Alan Walk.
Alan Walk, yeah, Hi-Fi
Not
Rush. I
woke.
could say
Not woke,
Alan
dude.
Walk, my bad.
Walk.
Or even a
Walk.
game like Astro Bots, for example, is another game that isn't going to sell
Ew.
backers, but it's a really good game, right?
Ew.
And Prince of Persia is a game that people said, hey, it was extremely good, but guess
Tales of
what? It
Pinzerezal.
didn't do the numbers. Yeah, so that's really more my point.
No,
When it
your
comes to
point is that there's other good games outside of the top selling games. I'm not even disputing that. What I'm
okay,
saying
yeah,
is
we're on the
in the
same
top
page then.
selling games, what I'm saying is in the top selling games, if you don't want to take the time to peruse every article, you don't want to check every Metacritic, if you go and you buy every single game of the top selling games from last year, you're on solid ground. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Reiki, you said you sent me something. I don't see any. Okay, okay, I just got the link. All right, I just got the link. Oshus, do you
Yeah.
think do you think I'm wild for my assertion?
No, but then again, like what you're talking about here is like about like best selling games. These are not the most played games in gaming. Like the best selling games are the games that everybody like. I suppose how Microsoft measures it now is they talk about mobile games. They're talking about like Roblox and like these infinite games that go on forever. If you're talking about to the hardcore audience, of course it's going to be quality games. It doesn't surprise me that like the core audience will buy for quality that we can all subjectively say is quality because it's what we grew up in like with and we understand. The problem is that's not the point anymore. The point is to make live service games that appeal to everyone that you don't even necessarily have to say sell like conventionally anymore.
It's not the point
So
to who.
sorry.
It's not the point to who. Who is it not the point to?
It's not the point to us like if we look at like because again like Ty, I agree with him, it's completely subjective, yes. However, in terms of the quality of the game, not whether it sells or not, but gamers will buy and will gravitate towards quality games, core gamers. I'm just saying that we're not the point to Microsoft and to what everyone is saying. If everyone is saying we're going towards the direction of Game Pass and games being available everywhere, if you listen to Phil Spencer and the games he talks about, he's not talking about Elden Ring or any of these games. He's talking about games like a Roblox. He's talking to a game like Minecraft. He's talking about these games that appeal mostly to people that play cell phone games or play games in a very casual way where they don't invest in a box or in an ecosystem. They just want to be able to access that thing once off, whether it's on their laptop or their cell phone, it doesn't matter. Those are not, I never count those people as gamers, even though they consist of the billions that Microsoft is trying to target.
They consist of the majority of gamers. That's what you wanted to say.
But they're not gamers. Like, because, like, go look at the games that are selling again. Like, the games that they
They're the
play
people that make you money, right?
sorry?
They're the people that make you money.
No, like, not everybody makes money of Minecraft. They make you money if you are a Epic and you have a Fortnite. If you're a Microsoft and you have a Minecraft, yes, they'll make you money. But if you want to sell consistent games, if you're a
So
Naughty Dog,
if we go and check the most profitable games of all time, Minecraft is not in the top five.
GTA, Call of Duty, Fortnite.
Answer answer the question. If we go and check right now.
No, but it's the best-selling game of all time is Minecraft.
All right. All right. So this is a nothing discussion. This is a nothing discussion. Let's
What do
watch
you
let's
mean
watch
it's
Ricky's
another?
video. Let's watch Ricky's video.
I've been working on a pet project. Something with unrestricted creative freedom! A mixture of spectacle and quality.
Peppermint? How's that budget looking?
It's almost gone.
My masterpiece! Now everyone will see that I am... defunded? I've been working on a pet...
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. It's sad to think about what happened to Hi-Fi Rush. It had some potential.
But it met the potential. That's my thing. Is that like this game did everything it was supposed to do. Microsoft still scrapped it. And this is why I say Microsoft does not have a metric for success. These are not people that you can trust and say,
Whoa,
I'm
whoa, whoa, whoa! No way! You don't think Hi-Fi Rush actually did what it was supposed to do?
what was it supposed to do?
The game had like 3 million players overall.
But like what was the cost and the expense to make the game?
The creative director mentioned when they were asking about the finance of the game, because the game was in development for a long time, so obviously Bethesda maybe mismanaged the game a little bit somewhat. But when he was asked about the budget, he says this is not an indie game, it's not a small game. A lot of people will be surprised at the price of the game. So he's kind of hinting that the game is not really double A, it's probably leaning towards more a lower end AAA kind of product, right? So that's number one. And then number two, it had 3 million players, and the direct comparison I always give to this game is High on Life. That game had 6 to 7 million players before it ever launched on PlayStation. That's double Hi-Fi Rushes, and you
Okay,
could
but
almost
like, why was
guarantee
that though?
because the game was because more people gravitated towards that game.
No, because it was marketed for one. It wasn't dark
No, no, no,
release.
whoa, 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 no, no, no. Remember, the game launched on this was December, right? Around December
Mm.
when Xbox was supposed to sign off on ABK. Xbox said nothing about this game. When the game launched, everyone was like, "Why? This is actually Xbox's only exclusive game of the year, right?" And then it was the jokes, it was the fans, everyone talking about the game. That's what kind of propelled the game towards being something special. Hi-Fi Rush had the same kind of impact, except people just didn't really care because it wasn't funny. It was a nice
But
indie
no,
small game.
but like it was marketed. Like High on Life was marketed and had a window, a release window.
No, by who?
Sorry.
Who marketed? Who marketed it?
I mean, like the first thing with that game is that at first it stars the
It
guys
got
from.
shadow dropped. Didn't it get shadow dropped? Let's be honest, Oshers.
No, the Hi-Fi Rush was not
No,
like sorry,
Hi-Fi
High
Rush
on
was
Life.
Shadow Drop, but High on
Yeah, yeah,
Life
it
was
was
not.
Shadow Drop exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that if you look at the strategy for High on Life, that game, like Jason Ronald and all these people, those people were behind that game. That game had quite an intense like because it was first of all it was announced like early on in one of the Xbox shows like E3 or something. So people had to sort of time to go research, have a look. Like before the game even came out, it had some sort of like clout to it already, and the fact that it came from the guys that made Rick and Morty did not hurt the brand. So this was a brand that could exist in pop culture consciousness. People were aware of it. Hi-Fi Rush was just dropped after that one showcase. Game was brilliant. There was no marketing whatsoever, which is typical Xbox. Put behind that game.
But Balashas, I would almost even say to you because you always say this statement, right? Who is this for? Like, let's be honest right now. Who asked for a game like Hi-Fi Rush?
That's a good question. And then again, it goes back to the people that were selling it. Who did they sell it to?
Well, but you see, I feel like that's a different point now because when you say Hi-Fi Rush did exactly what it was supposed to do, I'm
It
thinking,
did
no, I'm thinking, no,
technically,
no, no, it didn't. I'm thinking, no, the game didn't because the key thing here is, I think if the price was right, it would have made sense. The
but it was it
problem
was for free,
The
was it not?
problem is from what we've gathered from what the creative director has said, the game was probably over budget and was probably leaning towards the lower end of a AAA product. And if that's the case, there is no AAA product, low end or high end, that can sell three sorry, not sell 3 million, 3 million players, and with the vast majority of that being on Game Pass, which means you have nothing. You gain absolutely nothing from that because remember it's a shadow drop, so you're not gaining new subscribers. These are just
Exactly.
keeping the same people there, right? Therefore, we can come to the conclusion that the game brought in nothing. In the same way, Hellblade
Why?
2 did absolutely nothing.
But like what I'm saying to you is that like none of those decisions mean Hi-Fi Rush is a great brand. If Hi-Fi Rush was given to say for instance to Sony, which like for instance they did with the other two games from Bethesda, which did
We'd have
very
an
well.
anime right now.
Sorry?
If this game was given to Sony, we'd have an anime by now.
100%. Because of the fact that like first of all they would just market it better. Like they would actually put it out there because the game itself is technically brilliant. Everything
Yep,
in that game mechanically works. And in
excellent
terms of
game.
art, the art style, the audience for that art style exists. There's a lot of, again, it goes back to the same thing with South of Midnight that I said. If you, as the people, if Aaron Greenberg doesn't know who to sell that game to and they just put it out there, who's going to buy it? Like, if you put
If
no
if
time into
All
Xbox
right, fuck it,
human
fuck it.
content,
Ushers, I'm going to open Steam right now, and I'm going to buy it. All right, fuck
put
it.
it, yeah.
So you can stop. So you can stop talking about who's going to buy it. Loke bought it. Before you guys continue, Fuzzy brings up an interesting comment here that we almost always forget every time we're discussing Tango. Fuzzy says everyone ignores that Tango was a AAA studio and their AAA games bombed. Hi-Fi Rush didn't have much to do with it, and one of the games that bombed was it to go Ghostwire Tokyo. So there's that. It's not
this
Like,
is
just
and
all,
I don't
this
know
is
what
all
to say.
true.
That's why,
The Hi-Fi Rush, when I look at the numbers of Hi-Fi Rush, 3 million players is not good enough for a game that is pushing towards the end of probably low tier AAA. And you might say Sony might do a better job. Yes, true, they might market it better, they might not. But what Sony has is they already have the base. They already have that established base that people are going to buy from. So because they have the main markets and the casual market, HyperWatch is going to by default just sell more. So it has a better chance of making its money. In the same way, how if Microsoft was to release they were to release what was this? South of Midnight on PlayStation, it would probably sell more on PlayStation just by default because they have the market share.
So, and it did eventually, of course, go to PlayStation and by
And
the
no one bought it, which shows that no one really cared about it that much. Like it
because it
was,
was such a poorly marketed. That game needs the right sort of marketing because everything about
it
that
does.
game is almost perfect in terms of like
But
there's
what I would say
mechanically,
is that
gameplay
regardless
wise.
of whatever marketing Xbox wanted to do, if Xbox wanted to market Hi-Fi Rush and spend money on that product, they would not get back the return that they expect.
Well,
Uh,
did they get back the return that they expected from Redfall?
No, they didn't.
Thank you. Like, when
Yeah, but
is Microsoft
but
got
those two
back that
studios got
return?
closed down as a result. Like
Sorry?
they both flopped.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is that like where have Microsoft gotten aside from Forza? Where have Microsoft gotten back what they paid
Forza.
Forza? Uh, I'm
I'm
in
sure
Africa.
they've made some probably they've made money off their studios.
Who has this generation made money for Microsoft? Was it
Halo.
Hellblade 2?
Obsidian probably is one.
What is Hellblade? What has Obsidian made money of?
Obsidian
Outer Worlds. Outer
um
Worlds.
Outer Worlds released
No,
on
no, no, but that's not an Xbox published game. That's published by private division.
yeah, but
Wait,
whatever
that not
income.
Obsidian?
It's Obsidian made, but it's published by Activ. Well, it's I suppose now it's part of Microsoft, but I believe it was part of Activision. It was a company called Private Division.
So Xbox made no money off of the first Outer Worlds.
I don't think so.
No, well, they would make money by default because they own Obsidian, right? So whatever Obsidian royalties I get, and Xbox gets those royalties. So
Oh,
there's
it's
that.
a Take Two company. Sorry, it's Take Two, so it goes through the Activision
Oh yeah,
guy.
Grounded.
Grounded as well.
Big, big
10 million
Obsidian
players.
hits. Big.
Well, I mean, like that was like not being was that even sold?
What do you mean? Was it
Yeah, yeah,
sold?
you
Yeah,
had to purchase it.
you had
It
to buy
wasn't
the
free to
game.
play.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So Grounded, yeah, had a lot of players. What else?
Bethesda, how you could. I think they've probably gained a
Because
good bit from Fallout
Starfield didn't meet
76.
expectations. Like there's
No, but Fallout 76 is a recurring game, and they've announced I think what ever since Xbox bought them 3 million new players. Is it that's joined the party, maybe more. That's a live
I'm
service
going
game,
to
right?
need. I'm going to need someone to like point to send me a link of something solid on Starfield failing Oshes, because I remember Starfield apparently didn't get great numbers in terms of purchases on
according to
Xbox.
Xbox.
On
Yeah.
Xbox, they didn't get purchases on the console, but on Steam they did mad numbers. So I'm gonna need like a link that covers the entirety of the money making machine that is Starfield. Because I'm still not
Again,
convinced. I'm
like
still not
what you're
convinced
asking
that it was
for.
a flop.
You know what the problem is with what you're asking for?
Yeah,
You're asking for transparency, which Microsoft does not provide when it comes to the sales numbers. Like we don't even know how many Game Pass players are they out now. Like we don't even know
they stopped
like,
after like 25 million, right?
the last number that they quoted, but it's been when like
No,
2022
no,
when
no.
it,
Sorry, it was 30. I think it was 30. My bad.
this
I
was
think it
like
was
2022,
the
2020,
last
yeah,
number.
2022.
The last number was 30 plus. I remember they said something
Yeah.
about that.
And they didn't
Right?
even specify where. Like, is it console mostly? Is it they just said 30? Like, this is my thing with the Xbox. They're not transparent with any of their numbers. A lot of it you have to make guesstimations whether or not a game was successful. How do they measure what the success was? Because this is, and I'm saying Hi-Fi Rush was a success because this is what Sarah Bond up until she went into that meeting and she had to explain why they had to shut that studio down and she didn't have an explanation because this is what she was saying all along with Phil Spencer. This is what we do. We give our studios freedom to create and blah blah blah. And then this game went on to do all that stuff, all that hot garbage that we're speaking. It did all those things. It won all the awards. It won more awards than any other game that Microsoft had and was nominated more than any other game that year. And they still shut the studio down. This is after they'd been parroting these same points. I'm like, how do you believe these guys? They mislead with like they have no truth. Everything is is true until it's not with Microsoft.
It's not even malicious. I just think it's
Information
very
changes.
it's very optimistic, and and as Luke just said, the information changes. I'm sure they were very happy with Tango, but then when the bills came in and says, yeah, you gotta find whatever it is, 700 million, and you also need to take resources and put it into the next Fallout game and all these other products. At that point, I think the problem is I don't think the guys at Xbox were looking at this from a business point of view. I think there's an email where someone's telling Phil Spencer like, yeah, listen, we're doing all these things, and I don't know if it's gonna work out because we're saying these things, we're acting this way, but there's a business reality that I don't think we're really considering here. And it's clear that everyone at Xbox, or at least the top management, we're just very optimistic on the future. And the economy changed, and then the world came crashing down, and they had to make this pivot. And that was pretty much it. From what I saw or read, or when I was listening to Rand's show, Jez hinted that it's just resource allocation. They're like, okay, fine, we could create a Hi-Fi Rush 2 potentially, but what if we gave that money to another studio that can actually use those resources to make a better product that's going to sell
Ty,
more?
Careful how much you defend Xbox. That's not an acceptable position nowadays,
Mm.
right? You can get all types of slander and accusations in your
Because
I
that
direction.
don't know.
let's actually remember this. When they closed down the studio, then it turns out that ABK, which Xbox owns, just created a whole new studio to make a open world RPG like game. Right? Then we now heard that Xbox is rumored working with another studio that's going to publish another third party kind of game. Oh, look, Xbox is also working with Ninja Theory to make a Ninja Gaiden. So I remember talking to like some of my guys who were very anti Xbox, and they couldn't make sense of all these new studios popping up for Xbox and these publishing deals because they're like, wait, but we thought you canceled Hi-Fi Rush because y'all were like broke and stuff. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like again, it's called resource allocation. Why make Hi-Fi Rush 2 when you can just put Obsidian right here, right now to make Fallout New Vegas 2? Which one is going to sell more? And I asked this Xbox guys this who love Hi-Fi Rush, and their response is literally, no, we want to work with Hi-Fi Rush 2. I'm "S- like, are you
So you
insane?
think we're gonna make Las Vegas too?
No, 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 no. I'm saying that resource allocation it's what's happening.
Ah, what's this?
They've
All right.
taken the
Because again,
money.
like
They've
where have they
taken
allocated?
Tango's money,
Ty,
and they're saying, let's
Give me
put
give
that
me an
money into
example where
somewhere
they've
else.
so their biggest franchise of all time up until
Hmm.
recently was Halo Infinite.
Hmm.
They let that game literally out to dry and like sink to death. Where was the real the smart resource allocation then? When they provided they like the biggest complaint what killed that game, everybody agreed they enjoyed the single player, it rated well because of the single player and what was available at launch for multiplayer for that short period of time. And then after that there was no content for it for years. So
Hmm.
where was that resource allocation?
But that's mismanagement, right? So those are
Exactly.
two different.
Like I
Yeah, but
think
that's
that answers
mismanagement.
all the questions. Xbox does not know how to manage game studios, period.
No, but you see, no, see, that's fine, and you could say that the reason why Tango closed down or this had to sell off Tango was
Yes.
because of that. But Bethesda didn't know how to
Exactly.
manage that studio pretty well because all those AAA games were failing, as Fuzzy said. However, the what we've heard is that it is resource allocation because remember, if it's not resource allocation, well, clearly that money that got taken from Tango went somewhere. The question is where. Well, we've seen that Xbox is working with new publishers. We've seen that they're working with Ninja Theory, Platinum Games and Team Ninja. And we've seen that like they also started a new studio called Elsewhere Studio, and we probably know that they have more Game Pass titles right to come through. So clearly they're taking that money from Tango and said, yeah, let's put it to other locations. There will be no disagreement there, right? Because that money clearly has to go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For example, even when Sony shut down Japan studio, because like yeah, we don't want to pay you guys that much money anymore. My guess is that money probably went to Insomniac, and they were like, yeah, listen, go make Ratchet and Clank 2. So the main team still keeps making Spider Man, but now we're gonna take the um Japan studio money and give it to the smaller team to make Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Like you know what, like that example only works if Sony's is incompetent with putting resources in the wrong places as Xbox, because like with most of Sony's resource until recently with all these live services. Again, they were goated by Xbox into doing that crap. Like they typically know where to put their money. So whenever they do that, people are sad or whatever. But it's like, ah, you know what? At the end of the day, it's going to be something that's going to be a shiny triple A blockbuster game. Whenever Xbox allocates freaking resource to something, it turns out to be like Avowed or whatever,
All right, all right,
whatever,
all right.
whatever
You,
Ricky,
WD.
you you might say that true, but keep in mind though, do we think Avowed will sell more games than Hi-Fi Rush?
I think Avowed is dead, bro.
Hmm.
I think Avowed will sell more games than Hi-Fi Rush. I think he'll sell more. Rachie, you know what? Thank you for keeping us honest, Rachie. Definitely, Gravity Rush did not sell well on PlayStation. Just you know what? Putting a game on PlayStation does not guarantee sales.
Hi-Fi
Uh,
Rush.
Again, even though we're sure that it would have been a banger, there's no real guarantee because Gravity Rush was more or less in the same spirit in terms of like anime centric. You're not sure if it's a double A or triple A or whatever, but Gravity Rush, notoriously, right? Everyone loves it, but it didn't sell. Like it's like, okay, who bought it? Since everyone loves this thing so much, who bought it?
That's a good point.
Same thing for Foam Stars. Thank you so much, Ron Slasher, for keeping us honest. Quantum Era was just a bad game. Ron Slasher, it was just bad. Destruction All Stars also a bad game. Fuzzy says Halo was supposedly profitable. I didn't know this. I did not know this at all. On obviously, right, the big whale in the room, Concord. Yeah, I agree with Fuzzy. Starfield was clearly profitable. Like I'm gonna need some more. I need something.
Well, I'm just basing it off what Microsoft said in passing.
I'm
Like,
basing it off of what I saw on Steam, dude. Like, tell me what you saw. Send me what you saw on Starfield.
yeah. So, like again, going back to that thing on Steam. I mean, um, Forza. If Xbox again, this goes back to me and them not buying their bullshit. If Forza was so successful and it got all the potential players, it's something like 40 million players. But that's not enough. So what is like you? Sony will never have a game that has 40 million players, bro, at any given time. But you still need to go and put that 30 million plus people that bought it on Xbox on your consoles is not enough. You instead of pushing a product and putting that time and resources to make sure that, hey, you know what, if we can get 20 million players at least to play this game on console, maybe we can help it grow our hardware base. Like there's no reason for Forza to ever go to it's made its money then some. Again, going up to the other side of like Microsoft's bullshit of saying, well, so that we can make better games because we can sell. No, bullshit. You don't need a game to sell 50 million. Like you made your money with Forza, I think, in the first 15 million, then some.
I would say that it makes complete sense that Forza is there. Not because I support it. Not I don't I I've never supported the move myself. But Microsoft is in it for the money.
That's
Only. Only.
that's
Like
you say that,
it,
yeah.
I don't believe that there's any real like passion for like love of the game. I don't think there's any of that on the Microsoft side. If I'm wrong, it's fine. I'm wrong, but that is how I feel about them. Um, as a customer, I was satisfied with Xbox the same way I was satisfied with my PlayStation. Right? That's why I got both of the consoles. But then it was brought to my attention that there's no real benefit in owning just one of the consoles. If you can just invest the same money you're going to put into both consoles, you can put into a PC and you get both. You don't have to worry about now I'm on this controller, now I'm on that controller. Now now it's trophies, now it's achievements. It's like, dude, you got everything in one place. And obviously, the thing that triggered me was Metal Gear Solid, because if you buy, if whatever I buy on PC, that's it. It's mine. They don't have to worry about no new remastered version in the future. Whereas on console, that is a real possibility. On PC, I just have to better my graphics or whatever, my graphics card, etc., etc. Um, yeah, man, I'm not upset, but that's what corporations do, dude. They need to make more money. Oh, you made 50 million last year. Well, I need you to make 51 this year. Yeah, but I only have the install base of 30 to 45 million Xbox players. Well, I don't care. Find me new players. It's like there were no new Xbox players born last year that also went through high school and primary school and and got a job, and now they can afford to pay for Game Pass every month. But yeah, the corporation doesn't care about this. You have to make more money than you made last year. Period. Point blank. It doesn't matter. Oh, you made a profit. I don't give a fuck. Did you make more money than last year? No, you didn't. Well, you failed. It's a never ending. It's a never ending wheel. It is what it is. Guys, we need to get into the IGN Fanfest. I would really like to get into these topics or into these games.
Just a quick one on like it's gonna be similar to the this relation to the Tango situation. When we look
Okay.
at WB games and we see them close down these studios, one of the things that was highlighted was that the leadership team left. I think that's very, very important. When we look at a company like Bioware, for example, right, and we see that the founders left, and then the founders, sorry, Greg and Ray, and then you had Casey leave, and and Drew leave. That was basically the end of the studio. You could argue
Yeah.
make that argument, right? So the seniors are extremely important, and this is something I've said to you before. Look, that like this is why CEOs make their money because a good CEO will make sure to keep those people happy and in place, and that's a success. And that's how you get a Baldur's Gate 3 and you get a Vilgard because there's differences. So you might say, well, the CEO is making too much money, he's not doing much. No, he's the one who's bringing this team together and able to keep them together, so you get the quality products. So with WB, the reason why that's just shut down basically is because all the leaders left, and then when they left, the game fell apart, had to be rebooted again, and eventually WB was like, "There's no one here that we trust who can actually make this game. We don't have the talent." When Vince, what's his name again, Zampella, the guy who he left just ago he left. He came to EA to make Jedi Survivor and the previous one, Jedi Fallen Order. That's a top quality Star Wars game, right? No one thought EA was going to make a game of that quality. Once again, that's a leader leaving a studio, grabbing different people to work under him to make another quality product. Apparently, he's left that studio now, which is a huge problem for EA because no one knows what the third game is going to be like, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of goes back to the whole Tango situation when the leaders have left, and we know at least like five of them left. My booty is looking at this team saying, "Well, who's gonna like make this quality? Like, you're asking me to give you 150 million or whatever it is over the span of 5 years to make a new game." And that game could flop because unfortunately you guys don't have the skills and the management talent to make a quality product. Yeah, shut the studio down. I will point to the fact that like when leaders leave, that's when you can probably say a studio shut down.
Yeah. You can't replace talent. People like to pretend that, oh no, Loke was the assistant to Ushers for 5 years, and they made a banger. Or Loke assisted Ushers to make a banger game, so it'll be fine. No, dude, don't then turn around and say, yeah, look, you're going to make the next masterpiece because you used to sit next to Ushers when he was making Baldur's Gate 3. All right. Cristiano Ronaldo plays with a whole bunch of people, but only he can do what he can do. There's people that have played with him for years, but they can't do what he can do. So yeah, I 100% agree with you, Ushers. The leadership matters. The talent matters. Anyways, let's get into it. So last week we had the IGN Fanfest. They announced a couple of games. They announced a couple of movie trailers, TV show trailers, but obviously this is TSWS gaming, so we're going to lean more towards the games. Let's see this trailer. This is DC Dark Legion official trailer. Iconic DC characters like Superman, Batman, and more take the spotlight in this latest DC Dark Legion trailer for the upcoming action-packed strategy game. Check out the new DC okay trailer. All right, strategy game. Interesting. I haven't seen it. Whoa, that's loud. Okay, we should probably remove the sound. Fellas, what do you guys think? Okay, so there's no gameplay
A
so far.
lot of purple.
Oh, buzz off. This looks interesting. What the fuck? Is this like a turn-based? Is this a mobile game? This looks like a mobile game.
This is what I expect Xbox to be doing a lot more. Obviously, they've talked about wanting to get into mobile, and I expect
Yeah.
their IPs to be in this. I expect a Gears of War mobile game. I expect a Sea
Oh,
of Thieves mobile game. I expect a Forza mobile game. I expect a Crash Bandicoot Racing mobile game. You know what? I should go beyond that. I expect Xbox to make a racer that has all their IPs in the same Smash Bros. Like fashion because they have all these IPs. It doesn't make sense to just have Crash if they're doing the racing. Yeah, so this is a DC mobile game, more than likely, and yeah, it makes perfect sense. You need to reach a different audience, and yeah, obviously make your Batman game for the core audience, but in the meantime, allocate some small budget to these kind of games because these kind of games can fund the big games, right?
this is where they make the money.
Take Two's, if you look at Take Two's financial reports, obviously they don't really need this, but I think 45% of their revenue comes from mobile phones, from mobile games. And if we're talking about revenue, we know these games are very low cost to make, so that's a lot of profit right there.
Yeah, if they make 5 million with this game, it's I don't know 4.5 profit. I want to
Mm.
see the platforms. I don't see any platforms.
More than
Don't
likely
get me
PC
wrong.
and mobile phone. That's what a lot of these companies are doing.
Ah man,
Yeah, this does look like a mobile game.
I wanted more. I expected more. That's a bit disappointing, man. That sucks. That
Mm.
sucks. All right, all right. Let's hope the rest doesn't disappoint.
I think it will because I didn't hear anything crazy about this
Same.
event. So
What? You
expect
guys
more
also think
mobile
the rest
games.
will disappoint?
Yeah, of course. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see any. Oh my god, this new
You
game
guys
got
suck.
released. You know.
You guys suck. Oh damn. Hold on. I messed up. Oh okay. There we go. All right. Let's watch this one. 505 games. These guys don't make mobile games, so at least it won't be a mobile game.
Hmm.
Okay. Blacksmith with some runes on his hands. So on some mythical stuff. Greek gods maybe.
Mm, yeah, this
Basic
looks-
ass sword. Oh, hold on. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. That's better. This looks like a Souls like.
yeah,
It looks like a Souls like. Graphics are nice.
gives me gothic vibes.
Oh,
See, this is what you want from a dark fantasy.
yeah. It looks kind of disgusting also with like the creatures that are.
Oh, there's purple,
Oh my god! Stop it, Oshus. Dude, is purple like a banned thing?
bright purple and green.
Man, I like this. This looks like it's got a good story on it. And he's a blacksmith of some kind. Ah, so it's not just swords. You can have an axe as well. I wonder if you can make like a spear, blades of fire.
Blades. Okay. Oh, I saw this somewhere. This was
Ah,
trending.
okay. That looks like Lilith. No, this looks like Lilith. Okay, it's not a mobile game. PlayStation,
What is
Xbox.
Mercury Steam? I've seen that name before.
Hold on a minute. I see Epic Store. Is this an Epic exclusive?
Hmm.
Oh no. Tell me Blades of Fire is not an Epic exclusive. Blades of Fire Epic exclusive. Ah, okay. It's going to launch on Steam as well.
Ah, yes, they did the Castlevania games. I thought I recognized their name.
Yeah.
Um, and they did Metroid Dread for Nintendo. So there you have it.
Yep. Watch the Blades of
Metroid,
Fire
like they
announcement.
did quite a few games for Nintendo.
Yeah, this looks like a solid game. This is a good game to put on the list for the backlog. So you see, Ty, not everything will be disappointing. Huh? Are you
I mean,
disappointed?
the no, I'm not. But this game is gonna fall into, or it could, if it's not budgeted well, it's gonna fall
Yeah.
into the typical. There's so many good games out there to care. There's nothing
Yeah, it
about
looks like a very
this game.
7 out of 10 game.
Yeah, it's a very like these 7 out of 10 games are not going unless you've done the right budget. You know, you have somebody to actually do the calculations properly. These games are gonna flop, um, and that sucks. But that's just the way the industry is. I have way too many good games to even consider looking at this. Then,
Wow. Okay, so you're like a proper hater. Okay, Ushers.
yeah.
Ushers, are you also a hater?
No, like the game looks good. It just looks very double A. It looks like one of those, like we were saying, like 7, 8 out of 10 games. The problem with those games is that in a dry year, which we don't get much of anymore, where you don't have big releases, those games tend to do very well. Whereas in a year that's very busy with big releases, those games get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, as Taye was saying. But to me, it looks interesting. I just would not buy it because I've got, like, again, as someone with a
Well,
backlog.
I'll even say something else though. Like it seems very, very generic, and there's nothing unique about it. Like let's look at Flintlock for example, right? That game didn't do particularly well, but I thought it was a good game. It was a great game. It had
It
some
looked
interesting
decent.
mechanics.
It looked decent.
Yeah, like it was a great game. It looked interesting. And even the art style was different, and there was the teleportation with the movement things that was really cool. So I could even
Yeah.
say with Flintlock there was some unique elements to it. This game I saw absolutely nothing. There was no skill, no nothing. It just seemed like a very generic hack and slash game.
I'm more interested in Blades of Fire than Flintlock, and that's not because it's new.
Well, you have bad taste in games.
Sure, sure. Anyways, next we got the Gex trilogy. Like I think this is a remaster coming to all platforms.
I hated these games when they came out on PS1, so no. This was like the worst mascot ever. Like I never got the point of like Gex and Deep Cover Gecko and all that shit. Like I played a lot of this stuff on PS1 and I hated it.
You hated the Gex games.
Yeah.
Ty?
Yeah, I mean, I played it, but I feel what Oshos is saying. I can't.
Such a generic platformer, dude. Like I mean you had Spyro, you had Crash Bandicoot, and then you had this. You even had Medieval, which was better. Like this to me was just like
Medieval.
yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Damn. Damn. Tough crowd today. Tough crowd.
Who's
Guys are just
launching
not
this? Is
feeling
it
Gex.
Square? How would Square make this? Like
I know Limited Run are making the hard copies.
oh yeah. Look, if I wouldn't, I wouldn't even release this on Xbox and PlayStation. I would just put it on Switch.
Wow.
Try and get a Game Pass deal.
Yeah, like, and they're not even like they like literally not like improving visuals. Nothing. It's not a remake. It's just like a remaster of the exact same game from yeah
From
from
back in the day.
you know PS1 games are like if you're gonna do a PS1 game, I mean you need to work on like a lot of things.
Tough
Those
crowd
games
today.
don't age. They don't age well, man.
All right. Next, we have what is this? What's this game called? The Hidden Ones.
Hmm.
Cinematic action fighting game,
Whoa.
The Hidden Ones. I think this one will be interesting. It looks like it was made by like a mobile developer that made a lot of money, and they were like, "All right, let's do what those guys did with Stellar Blade." You
Mm.
guys know the devs that made Stellar Blade are actually mobile devs, right?
Shift up, yeah. They make Nikke goddess of victory.
Yeah. Well, they saw a niche in the AAA and they did something. I think this one has potential.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
Is this the arena fighting game
It looks like
from an
it looks like
anime?
I have no idea
I
what's
don't
happening.
I don't think this is an anime though. I think this is like a original IP, but I assume it's in an arena. Yeah, this looks like arena.
I think I know this game or I know the anime. I'm not too sure. There's a game that's coming out that's an arena multiplayer game, and it got really good like previews. The, it looks similar to this a lot. It's just the main character looks a little bit. Nah, I should think it's different because the one I'm thinking about has it's a lot more finesse on it. Or is this it? I'm not too
But
sure.
this looks like an arena fighting game.
Yeah, it could be
The
this
most
one anyway.
uninteresting character designs for this type of game I've seen. Like,
Oh my god.
It could be this one actually. Yeah, yeah, it could be this. But if it is this, then it got pretty good previews. So
I mean, it's looking good to me, man.
what's
I'm
the name?
interested.
What's the name of the game? Look,
Uh,
the
the
hidden
hidden
ones.
ones.
I don't know.
What are the platforms? Hold on, I want to see. I want to see which platforms it's
I
on.
only saw Steam there.
Only on Steam. All right, Oshus, give us your thoughts.
I don't know. This looks like a pass to me because, like, I don't like if it's an arena fighting game, then like your character designs and like that needs to be interesting. Like the only character that looks interesting here is this guy with the Raiden hat with that.
Yeah, yeah, he looks interesting.
All these other characters look like generic like teenagers in a Japan anime, like
And we all know
cartoon.
how much you love anime, Oshus.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I don't know enough. Like I don't think this video tells me enough about the type of game that this is.
Yeah, so I know the kind of game it is. It is an arena fighter, and it is the game that I was thinking about.
Okay.
The anime is called The Hidden Ones, and there's a pretty cool fight scene in that anime. And from what I remember, I think it's a Chinese production, so it's actually quite popular. I think over there in China, like it has a good bit of views.
Chinese
Um,
make anime now.
Yeah.
yeah, they don't call it anime. They call it something else. I know the Japanese call theirs like manhwa. Sorry, the
Korea has
Koreans
theirs.
call it like manhwa. I'm not sure what the Chinese would call theirs. But from what I remember, the previews were good. They said the gameplay was tight. It had like a rock paper scissors kind of mechanic and different combos. And people said the bosses were really interesting as well. That they were well thought out.
Is
For
this
some
campaign?
reason though, this gameplay that I'm seeing right now looks trash. It looks bad. But the ones that
Okay.
I saw earlier looked really good. So I don't know what's going on.
Is this supposed to be like that Nakara Bladestorm game?
No, no,
Naraka.
no, no, no. They're very different. This one is just an arena fighter, like the Naruto franchise, the Naruto and PlayStation games. Nakara is Battle Royale.
Naraka, fellas.
Okay, sorry.
Alright. Okay.
Look, trying to cancel me.
Say it right. Say it right. So, Tai, does this game have a campaign or is it just online multiplayer?
I think it's supposed to have a campaign, like a single player mode, where you fight different enemies from the anime and you beat the bosses. So there is a single player mode and there's a multiplayer where you can like play with people. I need to look into it a little bit more. I sent it to my friend because he's watched the anime or whatever it's called, and he liked it. He thought it was good. So
Mm.
All right. All right. Well, I'm definitely adding that to my to my backlog. Hopefully, it has a decent campaign. Otherwise, there's no real point, as far as I'm concerned, at least.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, in other news, fellas, in other news, John Cena went heel. He turned heel. Did you guys see that over the weekend?
I did. That
Uh,
kick in the balls felt very real to me, man. Like, I was like, did you, did you do it? Like, did you miss? Because it looked like Yoshi got him. Like, I
yeah.
felt it when I felt when he kicked. But yeah, him going heel with the Rock behind him, unexpected for sure. I didn't expect that. But it's good. I think it adds more story now to Cody. But I'm just kind of wondering because I've always seen John as a baby face, cool guy. So I don't know how I'm
Yeah,
gonna react to him being an asshole. Like I guess we'll see.
it's weird. Oshus, did you see it? What did you
Yeah.
think?
No, I saw it. So like John Cena, like and I think for the younger kids, they won't remember. Like if you go back to Thug Life, John Cena, like that was like one of the greatest heels during that era of wrestling. Like so, he's a brilliant heel. He knows he's one of the most believable heels that you can get. But yeah, they took too long to wait for him to turn. But yeah, this could like the thing is that what's weird to me is that like I was sure that his whole thing was he's leaving wrestling. So to turn him a heel on his last run, you're not gonna get the same sort of mo you did out of like Hulk Hogan when he turned heel to join the NWO because
Yeah,
it's for like WrestleMania and then after that it's over type of thing. So
yeah.
it's a wasted opportunity.
You think he should have turned heel and stayed for
Yeah,
longer?
well, I think he should have, and it should have been a storyline that's gonna last at least an entire year or two. That you're gonna, but like he's busy, dude. He's in Hollywood. He's making movies. Him and The Rock. So it's
Yeah.
weird to be like, why everyone? Because if they can't stay, it means that the story is just not gonna last. It's like the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg thing back in the day. We as exciting as that sounds on paper, but like if they're not gonna stay, they're both leaving after the said match.
What's the
Uh,
point?
then what's the point of getting excited for some sort of a build up or a storyline that's gonna run? But it's yeah, like I'm surprised they did it. Like I thought they'd given up. I thought they were never gonna do it again. But let's see what they do with it.
All right, all right. And now to close off the show, a rare Reforged Gaming dub. These don't come along very often, so save it and enjoy it. Ushers, if you have anything to add, or if you want me to interject at any point, tell me. Ty, same thing. All right.
If this is the take, sorry, if this is the take that I think it is, then I'm in agreement with. So I'm good.
Okay. So Ty, tell me if you want to interrupt at any point.
Astroturfing for Microsoft. They were actively misleading the public. I'm not pulling my punches on this anymore. I'm not being nice. There's no reason to be nice about it. Misleading the public isn't the same as having an opinion. You could have the opinion that you like one platform over another. You can have an opinion that you wanted ABK to happen. I don't care about that. You can have those opinions and you can have those loyalties to Xbox as a brand. But to actively grab things that that man said and then use them in the way that I guarantee that's what he wanted to happen. He wanted that interview with Windows Central to convince people, no, it's not happening. That was the goal. That was the intention. The intention with the podcast was that everybody would run with it and AstroTurf and basically make it seem like everything's fine, nothing's going. They were AstroTurfing. They weren't all saying the same things in the same phrases by accident. And a hit dog barks. If you don't like me saying this, it's because I'm hitting a bullseye. It's like they knew what they were doing. They were keeping the public in the dark, willfully. They weren't doing this unwittingly. These people have been in the industry too long for me to believe that. They were willfully keeping the public in the dark. So yeah, you can be mad at Xbox. You can be mad at Phil. You should also be mad at the outlets, YouTubers, podcasters, and pundits who played the game. They played the game. And they're playing the game.
Yeah, Oshus.
No, I'm just
What does it mean? Play the game. Play is it a specific game, or does it mean Xbox's strategy overall?
he's just talking about like the YouTubers, like guys that get free chairs and review whatnot,
Oh my god, stop it with the chairs. God damn it.
and like what is it? Pre-order whatnot, box sets with masks and all that crap, and then they just go on to just say, "Oh, Avowed is amazing." Oh, I thought whatever insert Microsoft game. Oh, this is awesome. It's gonna be on Game Pass, and it sounds exactly like the same promo, and you hear it from like three different people that are associated with Xbox.
Really, I feel like these are very like small scale things, right? And maybe these things don't even exist. Like, are there fanboys out there who like Xbox games? Yeah, and they'll probably rate them higher. But I think everyone gets that. You go on any thread, you're gonna see PlayStation fanboys rate PlayStation games higher. Same thing for Xbox. But like Matty's, he's an Xbox guy and he's been critical of Xbox, and I mean he didn't rate Ninja, he didn't rate Avowed or Hellblade 2 very well. He gave it quite low marks. Huge fan of BioWare, Matty is as well, and he gave Velgard a terrible
Talking
score.
about Mr. Matty Plays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't think
that is much. Sorry, go ahead.
I just don't think these like if people are referring to like things like an Xbox era or one of these kind of podcasts, like yeah, but like that's just one because then you'd even go listen to other Xbox shows and they'll be somewhat critical. Um,
Like who?
like I
Except
think
for Maddie Plays.
I think an Xbox show, like whenever Rand does the reviews, I think he articulates exactly how he feels about the game and what he likes and doesn't like, and I think you could say his reviews are genuine. Um, who else would do reviews? Like, Kind of Funny has reviewed Xbox games in a
Oh,
good way and bad
God.
way.
I have
I mean,
no.
wait, didn't they give Avowed like 4 out of 10?
Who's this?
Kind of Funny.
Yeah, they
didn't
also
see-
gave like Veil God 10 out of 10. Um,
Yeah,
so,
but then it's like, which one is it then? Are they bought
but
by?
like
Are they being bought?
those
Because if they're being
guys,
bought, then Vilga should get a high
those
score.
guys at Kind of Funny, isn't that like with the black dude when they announced that whatchamacallit, that Forza is coming to PlayStation? Didn't he proclaim and stand up and like shout, "We won"?
Who?
The black dude from
Kind of
Kind of
Funny.
Funny.
I don't know if that
He
happened.
shouted up and he stood up when he heard that Forza
literally,
5 was coming to PlayStation. He's like, "We won, we did it." And
it
then they had a
literally
whole celebration. And I was like, come on, guys. Like, you guys are the always one looking down on gamers for being fanboys, but we see straight through you.
That's
Like,
just
how do you celebrate? Like, he was celebrating, like, like a PS fanboy, like in the prime, like when the Xbox was out, like the 360 was out.
Mm.
I saw that video. Oh no, it's Alex is the one who shared it out, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah, but I get it. There's
So not a good
lot.
shout there. Sorry, not a good shout.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's pro
there's some
Xbox.
trolling going on for sure, but I don't know. I think a lot of these things are overblown. They're like, oh, Xbox has got its people to change the tune of how they feel about games, and is exclusives bad or not? I think the what's really happening is there's a lot of information being played that's new, and a lot of these people are probably looking at that new information. They're not like I don't know many Xbox fans who are actually happy. I mean, hardcore fans who are happy with Xbox doing the pivot. Like even like Colts doesn't seem to be happy. Rand doesn't seem to be happy. Um, the only ones who people keep pouring out is like, well, Kind of Funny, okay with it. Yeah, it's like yeah, but like once again, like this is just selective because you have like 10 Xbox podcasters who are like, we ain't happy about this, and these are the guys you listen to and the guys you complain about, but then you find one of them who's happy or who doesn't care. And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, Xbox or Xbox fans are pushing this. Like, no, they're not. They're not happy with this. However, they are just kind of trying to move on and being like, it is what it is. We don't think it's a good idea. However, this is the direction that they're going to go in. we're just not going to go nuclear on them and tell them to get lost, because at the end of the day, we still have Game Pass. It's still our ecosystem. It's still our platform. Etc. Etc. Etc.
All
So
the
good.
ones I follow are
Some good
on that
points.
Celtic.
Go ahead,
Like,
Russia.
no, I was saying like all the ones I follow, like, and these are people I followed from the when the Real Deal podcast was still around with Dealer. Aside from like the fact that, like, if you look at like Tim Dog, for instance, became like an out, like the moment he found out, he kicked down immediately. He just decided fuck it. But the rest of the ones that were remaining, they really tried since last year. They've been trying to soften up like this discussion of like ease it in there, like, it's okay, guys, you're losing exclusives. But the thing is, they don't just come like, for me, if you know this, right, you're an insider and you have this, just come out and say it and say, we know this is going to happen, and then just express your honest
The
opinion. Like
last
what I
time,
like.
the last time they tried to express what's going to happen, the insiders, they were grilled by by everyone, the fanboys, saying, just keep the rumors to yourself, that you're trying to destroy Xbox." And they're like, you know what, we're just gonna keep quiet. But they've all been saying it now. They're like, well, guys, after, I think it was even Xbox era, the guys were saying it recently. They're like, after they said the first four games, they all made a statement saying, don't think it's just four. Like, that'd be silly. And I remember this is when they said it. Everyone said, on everyone's podcast, they said it's four now. It's not gonna be four in the future, and let's just leave the conversation there, because we're gonna get attacked by other people. Even the suggestion that Starfield could come or Halo. I know Xbox guys. These are the guys. These are not the podcasters, right? These are the guys who they comment on the stuff on the videos. When I say there's a chance Starfield will come, they attack me. When I say Halo's gonna come, they attack me. Be like, "Oh, look at you spreading your rumors. Oh, go make a YouTube video on there." And I'm just like, "Okay." And so if I'm getting attacked and they know me, imagine what these guys are going through. So no, I understand why they didn't just kind of come out and say it. Because at the end of the day, it's Microsoft. It's up to Xbox to say, right? And that's fine. I don't think I don't think this is as deep. The reason why these guys are still here is because I think fundamentally, they love the ecosystem. However, what their first love is the video games, and if they're still getting that, I think they take the blow and they're happy to proceed. So in essence, they love the games more than the actual platform or the
Which is
console.
how it should be, right? That's exactly what we want.
That's how it should be.
No,
Whereas the other guy who left as soon as he found out, he's
Which is Oshus.
signaling.
Which is
No,
Oshus.
well, not. I was about the other guy, the big Xbox
Tim
guy. I
Dog.
don't know his name. Um, when he found out and he completely bailed, then you have, and it's like, I'm never buying Xbox again. I ain't buying their games. If that's what he said, and if that's true, then you don't care about the games.
No, but like, again, like, you keep detaching these two things. You keep saying about the games. Like, the games go with who's making the games and what's the vision behind those games. And if that changes, it changes the nature of the games that you're getting. And Xbox, for the last 10 years, last decade, everything has been watered down. Everything that we know as Xbox has gotten worse. Like, so at what point in time, when they say, well, now we're going to put everything on PlayStation, do you go look at that and say, you know what? I care about the games. Like, what are you still getting that's even remotely what you bought into originally?
Game Pass. I bought into Game Pass.
Well, unfortunately, you did. I bought into Xbox, the actual console. I bought an Xbox One X because I thought it would have exclusive experiences, and I should have learned my lesson there because it didn't.
Yeah, the One X was a big disappointment. Jesus.
It had no hardware,
Sea
and then
Wolf
they repeated the
Swim.
same thing.
Welcome in. Go ahead, Oshus.
No, I was saying they repeated the
Tim
same
Dog.
thing with the Series X and the S. They launched a console never done in history before with no hardware. Sorry, with no software, no games. Only Microsoft could do that. Like, we're launching a brand new console, it doesn't have a single new game on it. Like, but I suppose, yeah, we were to blame, as Xbox, as people who believed in like what they were saying.
You think
No,
you're
no, I
enabled?
don't think it's a blame. Like, I think, like I said, I think we spoke about this last week. Are there victims in this situation? Yeah, the people who bought into the platform idea, that was pushed by Xbox or pushed by whatever, all platform holders. However, the fundamental part is always going to be, are the games the most important thing ever? And even, for example, if for argument's sake, you say, well, you know what, Xbox is keeping all their games on Xbox console and all the games on PC. As soon as you buy a PC, you're kind of already left because now you're not playing on the box anymore, but you're still an Xbox fan because now you're playing those games through a different platform, aka the PC. And then at some point, you might say to yourself, man, the Steam version is better. You know, let me go get that instead. Or they get updates faster first. Because if you're a big fan of Starfield and Starfield is better on Steam, of course you're going to go to Steam eventually. Because at the end of the day, it's the games that really matter.
Yep.
I just think there's layers to this, right?
Yeah, there's layers, but there's one fundamental thing, and this is the same thing I argued with you. The PlayStation or the Xbox and the PC is not the same thing. Like let's get like I like that argument because first of all, I can't take possibly it's plausible. I can connect my whatchamacallit, my PC. I can try and strangle it and connect it to my living room where I can go
No,
game.
there's nothing about trying. There's nothing about trying. You can quite literally do it. So stop
Yeah, take
qualifying
this
your
box
life.
and then go put it in the living room, and because
Okay.
that's going to be convenient with controllers and stuff. It's just
Okay.
not a plausible solution. It's not the same thing. Like how you game on a PC and how you game on a console is very different. And what most people do is that most people, same thing with the Switch. Most people will have a PC if like they're a hardcore gamer. They want to play strategy games and very specific games with keyboard and mouse. They'll have a PC. They'll have a secondary console, and if they're a guy that games maybe in the living room, they'll have a PlayStation or an Xbox. Now, the cool thing about Xbox and PlayStation, sorry, Xbox and PC working so well together is that you had opportunities like, oh, cool, I can buy this for me and my girlfriend or me and my brothers so we can play together in the living room on a Friday. But at the same time, I can have the same game on Xbox and I just have to pay for one copy. See, that worked for me, and still, it does not discourage people from buying your Xbox hardware. Where it doesn't work is when you now start putting things directly on PlayStation, because those are those boxes serve exactly the same purpose. Now there's absolutely no reason to get your box because I'm going to get the popular one that everyone else has. And it now even comes with those cross-play benefits that I don't get, that are no longer exclusive to Xbox. So you are removing the value of any reason to own that thing in your living room. You don't take your PC. Nobody builds a PC to put it in their living room.
Yeah. I mean, I built one, but I'm not going to put it in my living room. I'm thinking maybe the laptop goes to the living room, but
And
even
even
then,
then,
it'll
it's
look
still problematic.
unsightly. Yeah.
Running Windows on a TV, jeez.
I'll probably just put the laptop in a bag or something.
Hmm.
There's a crossover obviously between PC, Xbox, and I'm that person. You know, I play Metaphor on my Xbox, and I also play Metaphor on my
But are you
PC.
a large majority or a large number of players? Do you think you represent the majority of players? Because I think Osh's description is what represents the majority of players. The majority of players cannot afford to have all three platforms or even both platforms. That's what I think the majority of players do. They either pick one and then they keep it pushing. That's all they do.
I would say the casuals
Who
are
make up the majority.
you make up the majority, yes, are primarily one console focused, and they're good. However, the hardcore people like me, you, Ushers, and whoever else, they have two platforms. They have a PC, they have a Switch, they have all platforms. And I think it's those hardcore fans that once you play, like, I mean, look, got a PC, yeah, and
Yeah.
you have and you like Starfield. I'm telling you, you play Starfield on PC, you're not going back to console. It's a completely different experience. And
Damn.
then as soon as you start playing these PC games, eventually you're gonna look at that console and say, "Why?"
I can tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because I have asked myself that question, and I was ready to get rid of my Xbox, and then the answer came through. Xbox Game Pass PC doesn't work in my region, so I need the Xbox if I'm still going to have Game Pass, and
Hmm.
I
Game Pass
think
is
I think Game Pass is still the best value in gaming, even though, like, for example, Midnight's what it's not was it South of Midnight's coming out on Game Pass and PC. Me personally, I'm leaning towards just buying it on Steam. But I'm still not going to abandon Game Pass because Game Pass gives me the opportunity to try out stuff like Balatro that I tried out last week. Awesome addictive game. I had to uninstall it to keep on to open up the window and play other games. But it's again, Game Pass is unmissable value for as long as it will exist. So for that reason, until they put Game Pass PC in my region, I'm not gonna sell the Xbox. In fact, let me correct that because we did have Game Pass PC 2 or 3 years ago. Remember Oshus? South Africa did have Game Pass
I
PC.
still have Game Pass PC.
I don't.
Like the problem with
For
Game
some
Pass.
reason, it doesn't work for me. Maybe because I'm in Mozambique. I don't know. Go ahead, Oshus.
Sorry, like yeah, I was just saying that like the problem with Game Pass PC is that 9 out of 10 times it's stepped on. You're getting poorer versions that are not updated, like free. And this is the thing about Microsoft and just how
It's stepped
incompetent
on.
they are.
Jesus.
Like they cannot just make you a service that just works like Steam the first time. Like there's so many issues with like and it's getting worse. I can even see it creeping into the console where the DVR doesn't work the way it's supposed to anymore. It's not recording or screen capturing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like and because you can tell they just there's just a lack of just updating and keeping the thing consistent. And that's the problem with Game Pass on PC is that if you want Game Pass and you want the ideal Game Pass experience, you need yourself an Xbox Series S or an Xbox Series X because that PC shit is stepped on. It doesn't come close to any of the other competitive services like a Steam. Steam is so far ahead. Like the only difference is, of course, is that you get certain things like whenever they launch on Game Pass because of your subscription, you don't have to pay for it. Steam, I can argue that you can get freaking sales that go under $10, where you can still pick up games and whatever. So, Steam to me is the ideal platform if you're on PC. Game Pass is still like a secondary thing that most PC gamers don't even think about. So, the reason to own an Xbox is only Game Pass right now.
Does that answer your question, Ty?
Um, yeah, I think the Game Pass angle, remains true. But like, look, for example, for your specific situation, if Game Pass PC becomes a thing in your region, I think again it becomes increasingly hard to justify even purchasing the next Xbox console or even a
Yeah.
PlayStation 6 console
Yeah.
because you know when I got my PC, my guy was like, "Oh, you're a PC gamer now. Join the master race." I was like, "Listen, I'm a console guy. I like sitting on the couch. I like playing games, and I still do." However, I found myself playing more and more on PC. Starfield,
It
Titanfall.
just happened.
It
You
just
didn't, you didn't
happened
do it on purpose.
naturally.
You just woke up one day, you're like, shit.
Exactly. And the biggest difference here was Assassin's Creed. I wanted to get it, and obviously, if it was Xbox Play Anywhere, I could get it on Xbox and play it on PC. But in this situation, it's not. So I had to make a decision: do I buy it on PC or Xbox? There was no interchanging. So wherever I get it, I'm stuck there. And I got
Yeah.
it on PC. That was my most anticipated game of 2024 and 2025, and I've chosen to purchase it on PC because it's a superior platform to the console. And to me, like that just says it right there. Yeah, okay, I'm more or less done with console now. Unless like the console is going to become my casual platform, right? So there it
Oh,
is, and
when
I think
Grand,
that's going to happen to a lot of people too.
when Grand Theft Auto comes out.
When GTA comes out, yeah, for sure. But listen, my when I think of GTA, I'm even thinking like further ahead. Like, oh, how does GTA look with VR and mods and AI and all these
Oh
things?
yeah.
Like, cause consoles ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. Consoles
Like,
just give you access to GTA when it comes out.
yeah, like
Yeah,
listen, I might have to
That's
double
all.
dip. And
plug
once
and play.
again, if I'm double dipping to play GTA, it's because it's PC. Like, PC is just like the way to go.
Yeah, PC is where it's at, no doubt. The
Yep.
day I woke up and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop being lazy. Because my big excuse was always, man, I don't want to deal with always updating drivers and updating this and that and whatever. And then one day I stumbled onto this weird guy called Oh no, it's Alex. And then he was explaining how PC gaming actually works. And I was like, oh, okay, so It's fine. It's not a problem. And from Saturday's experience, clearly it's not a problem. I'm looking forward to doing research on how I'm gonna install Wi-Fi on my PC. I'm looking forward to unscrewing the thing, opening it up, putting the Wi-Fi in, closing it up again. It's weird. It's so weird.
PC is awesome because of that experience. It's such a personal thing. Like it's not just an every box. It's not like a DVD or a which consoles I suppose were special for a while. But I just feel that they've just become mini PC type things that you plug into your TV. That and the main advantage, the most powerful thing that Xbox has, and I think they underestimate this because it's falling apart now. I can tell is that ecosystem they have on that Xbox Series X is amazing from quick resume, all those little features that they built in there are like generation defining. But again, they've been so underutilized, so poorly updated because now a lot of the games don't even work with quick resume anymore because they're online games. So that feature also now works sometimes. So like again, it's this thing, man, of like Microsoft being so absent-minded with their products that are actually killer. Like their killer app, their main thing for me, if they wanted any of this thing to work, is take that experience I'm getting on my Series X now and replicate it on PC verbatim. Then you've got my attention. But they can't even update their DVR, bro. Like so, like you're asking them to do like miracles.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
They're trying. I mean, we know they're working on their PC launcher again. Like whether that's going
Where's
to work out well or not, it's a different story.
like I'm still waiting for Sarah Bond to announce last year July about like June. She said the next gen console. We're still waiting on that.
I
They
think their
prom-
plans are all over the place. However, I think there's a structure now, and I think that structure is largely due to Microsoft. Like even some of these like rapid changes, it's just Microsoft just being like that doesn't make sense. I'll always go back to the fact that Fallout came out and the TV show, broke Amazon records, and there was no update, no remaster, no nothing to take advantage of that situation. That
Yeah,
is that's a group of people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
that
Like it's
sounds like
just
mismanagement.
yeah, it just sounds like just lack of oversight. And I'm sure Sacha was all like, okay, so Fallout's out. Where's the remaster? And they were like, and he's like, shut down Tango right now and use those
Damn,
funds to do something useful. Like, what the hell are you
damn.
talking about? Like, it's so clear that's what's been happened to these guys.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
like it just ran really weird. And I told the guys as well that I think buying all these studios was great, and even the smaller studios, I think it's fantastic. But these studios ain't gonna grow console. Like Ninja
They could though.
Hellblade, nah. Psychonauts 3 isn't going
Bethesda,
console.
Bethesda could do it, dude.
Oh no, sorry,
Bethesda could.
Bethesda's the only one that could do that. But all the other studios, like they're making
Call
small
of
games.
Duty, dude. If they woke up and were like, "I, Call of Duty is now exclusive to Xbox," you telling me that's not gonna move console?
Sorry,
Come on.
I meant the smaller consoles. Like the publishers are different. Like I'm talking about like all the smaller studios that they purchase, like Ninja Theory,
Oh,
in
yeah, yeah.
Exile.
Those guys are gonna move consoles.
Like they ain't gonna do anything. And then to make it worse, I mean, like their games are gonna come out in 5 to 6, 7 years. Like Fable was announced in 2020. It's coming out in 2026. The gen is done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is my thing with Xbox. This is why I always say like this gen is a wash. They're not going to claim console market share because they don't have any good games that could drive users to their platform.
The thing is, even if you have good games, if everyone knows they can play them wherever, it doesn't matter if you have good games. And again, it brings us back to my main frustration with them, and Osh's main frustration as well. It's like, yes, this generation you weren't going to win, but if everything that had been purchased was made exclusive, you'd
for,
be
for next gen.
stacking you'd be stacking FOMO right now. You'd be stacking FOMO on top of FOMO on top of FOMO.
Hmm. Imagine like the momentum they would be building up now, where Sony is all their live services are tanking, and Xbox has just got like the all the first party games now all ready to come out, like to hit 2025, 2026. They've just got back to back, back to back, back to back. And of course, they didn't squander things like Hellblade 2, which went, came and went, uneventful. No one cared. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's so frustrating.
Missed,
Like,
The
missed
the problem
opportunity.
is the FOMO is like it's very specific to just certain games, right? Starfield, you could argue, has FOMO.
yeah, it's the only
Forza,
hype game
Till
that they have.
Forza,
today, till
Forza,
today, people still want to play Starfield.
yeah,
Don't let
exactly.
anyone
A
lie to
brilliant
you.
game,
If Starfield launches on PlayStation tomorrow, don't let anyone lie to you. 5 million copies minimum.
easily. Because there's nothing like it this generation. We don't have such a, regardless of its shortcomings, there is no space simulator that sort of gives you that semi Mass Effect experience.
Mm.
Aside from, and like the shooting, like again, it's just in the right hands that could have been
Bro,
a.
the shooting massive in Starfield. Oh my god. I,
It's
I
good,
have a lot
man.
of I
I
have a
love
lot
it.
of fun with that.
Yeah, no, Starfield is I actually wonder, PlayStation 5 has this super fast loading. So I'm wondering, is the PS5 version of Starfield, is Bethesda gonna do something with that, maybe to get rid of the
You
load
know it'll be
times?
They
faster. Come
probably
on.
will.
You know it'll be faster. You know it'll be better.
They
As a
probably
whole
will.
product, as an entire product, you know the best place to play Starfield will probably be on PlayStation.
Hmm.
And
On
that's just
PlayStation
pathetic.
Pro.
I'm sorry, dude. That's just pathetic.
It is like it's not acceptable for Xbox to do that.
What you mean
Like if
it's not
Sony,
acceptable? It's about to happen. Watch it.
yeah,
No,
but like if it
no, no,
was
I
Sony
agree with
giving
Osha in the
people,
sense that when I first was seeing all this like PS5 Pro enhancements, I was like, why? Don't enhance it for them. Just leave it the
why
same. Like, why you doing
exactly?
that? That doesn't make sense to me. I was so shocked when they were enhancing these games. I was like, damn, these guys are losers, absolute losers.
Sony would not do it. I promise you. Even if Sony was making, they would not make their game play better than on PlayStation.
Yeah, they'll say parity.
Like people have made jokes. I've seen some memes about that. Definitely, it definitely sounds like some cuck behavior. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a culture there at Xbox of like sharing, including things like wine.
The way you
Sharing is
said
caring.
sharing, the way you said sharing, Oshas, that sounded
Because I'm
disgusting.
picturing a guy sitting at the corner of a chair, sorry, the
Yeah,
corner of the room in a chair, and then
yeah,
he's busy giving approval.
yeah, yeah.
Yo, you
And
should
she's
look
like,
at Fuzzy's message where he says every game is gonna be cross gen next gen.
so losing this gen means they already lost next gen, bro.
Pretty much.
God
He's
damn.
spot
That
on there.
perpetual failure, it just goes into the future.
Oh my
But you
goodness.
see, this is why I think they've just given up because they know that this is what the future is. There's
But
nothing
I
they can do.
promise you, if they had given, like, for instance, Peter Moore and said, Peter, we're giving you a second stab at this. Sell the Xbox Series X and S. And tell you what, we'll sweeten the deal and we'll give you like 10 billion. That is your budget in terms of studios, acquisitions, just 10 billion. The same money that sort of went towards, like, say, buying Bethesda. Bro, I promise you. Like, he did that stuff. He took Xbox from 24 million. I think, was it 24? Was it just 30 million with the Xbox, original Xbox One?
I think
But,
around
but it
high.
was around 30, right?
So
And then
you
he,
think Peter Moore still has it today in
sorry?
2025? You think Peter Moore still has it in 2025?
Dude, the guy was running a football club a couple of, like, a year ago or so. The guy is, when he
That doesn't
puts his
matter, dude.
mind,
There's people that know how to get success in different industries. Doesn't mean that it's universal.
well, there's people that have been in this industry for over 3 decades and they still can't get success. So
Fair enough.
I'm not saying any
Fair enough.
names, but I'm just saying that, like, it's a thing of like, I like that guy. Like, he had, like, because he came from Sega and he had that console mentality. You have to be pro. You can't be a PC guy. That's the problem with Phil. Phil's a PC guy, so he's indifferent to this whole console thing. Peter was a console guy through and through. And he knew how to sell consoles because he understands the people that buy consoles. And that will get you to 100 million. And then from 100 million, then you can start thinking about, well, how do I attract the 200 million that are non gamers? Problem with Microsoft, they can't even sell. 50 million, and they telling you that they're aiming for 500 million. And I'm like, bro, really?
I think if you had told Peter, okay, be here for the Xbox One situation, and then obviously this is the Xbox Series X and S. This is the plan we're going forward. We want to use Game Pass, and we want to also kind of get into cloud. I wonder if he would have. I think he would have. I think from a console perspective, he would have definitely done better. But I'm wondering if he might have reached some of the pitfalls because at that point, then Microsoft's attention or Xbox's attention might be diverted into cloud and PC, which indirectly harms the console. I think the part that I think is probably really important is, does he
I
sign
mean,
up with these
cloud.
smaller studios? And I don't think so. I think what he does is he actually goes for timed exclusives to
100%.
enrich the Xbox ecosystem. I think it's those timed exclusives that makes the Xbox One a better success. So you're probably selling way more Xbox One consoles because Phil just backed out
100%.
straight away with Tomb Raider. He was like, okay, everyone's bullying me now. Let me just stop. It's like, why? Like, what do you mean? These are just online losers. Like, don't, are you really listening to them? Like, that's just baffling to me. But I think Peter probably goes hard still and just keeps doing what he's doing. And I think you see, and I don't think Xbox loses that Activision Blizzard deal either, the marketing rights. So if they do want to buy ABK in the future, I think it's a lot easier as well. Yeah, I think overall he might actually be in a better position to sell Xbox consoles. Um, yeah,
To
And
your
that's a lot.
point, the future is definitely cloud. The future is definitely streaming.
it's
Like,
definitely cloud, but even like when I look at what like it's definitely cloud, but I think the one thing about cloud that's interesting is I think this is where Microsoft also needs to be very careful with PlayStation. Um, it's not like getting a console where you need to convince people to really just like uproot and spend $500. Cloud is basically an app.
Yeah.
So if you can get a good app and has maybe exclusive content, aka maybe a God of War Egypt or whatever it is, people will probably download that app to play. I don't know if cloud gamers they're very flexible at this moment. They're not very Steam like. So even though Xbox has a huge advantage here, there's a chance
they
that
haven't locked them down.
if a good competitor comes through with a good product, I think they'll just move on. For example, my first cloud application was XCloud. And from XCloud, I went to Stadia. And from Stadia, I went to GeForce Now. I haven't been to XCloud back since. It's just not that good. So I think that's what they need to be careful. The transition to a different cloud service is very, very easy.
And that's my point about Xbox as well. Is look again, this is a market where they are touting left, right, and center that we're going all in or blah 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 blah. But dude, you still have the most ass cloud fucking service
Mm.
available. Like I mean, GeForce Now is not even comparable what you can stream on your whatchamacallit or on your Xbox Cloud service. Like I mean, even the failed whatchamacallit Stadia was leagues ahead of where Microsoft is. And this is my problem. They're a software maker that is not good at making software. And all their solutions are half-assed. They have not a single solution that's solid and that's locked in gaming. They cannot point to one thing and say, you know what? This we've got locked down. Nobody comes close to us in doing this one thing. Yet they want to do everything and anything.
Mm.
I would just disagree with the cloud thing. Um, they have a chance to take the lead. And as far as GeForce Now is doing a lot of stuff that's anti-consumer right now. You as a subscriber, Ty, you know that they put caps
Hmm.
on how much time you can play on GeForce Now.
Yeah, did it.
That's a gigantic L as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's fine. I mean, it's not the best, but I think it's fine. Just because cloud is very tricky. No one's really making that much money.
That's not my problem as a customer. You're charging me X amount of money to play
Mm.
video games on your cloud service. If you're having trouble with your cloud service, that's your problem. You don't give me discounts because I'm having struggles with my personal life. You just charge me what you charge me as GeForce Now, right?
But yeah, you're not getting the same thing, dude. Like what you're getting with GeForce Now is you getting the equivalent of like a a 3060 Ti or a 46.
No, no, it's in the 40s, man. It's all in the
Yeah,
40s. It's high tech stuff. In fact, like when I played the first time I played Starfield, with high tech was GeForce Now, and I was just blown away how good. I was like, Jesus Christ, Xbox sucks. It's like
yeah.
never going back to console again. It was so good.
So it's like a 4070 or
Yeah,
4080.
yeah, yeah. It's around that.
So and with all the graphical last number thingies, meaning that you can even play in 4K. When
Mhm.
you play freaking xCloud, my man, like there's so much artifacting. In fact, again, it's another situation where the service launched in a better condition than it is now. Now I get more
It's
buffering. I
gotten
get more.
worse.
It's gotten worse. Yeah, it's not as smooth as it was when I first. And there, Raichi says it's an RTX 4080, bro. That's what you're getting. That is why they limit the number of people that they can put on there because they need to have those what do they call them, server blades and stuff like that there so that they can monitor traffic. To me,
As a
it makes
customer, I
sense.
don't care, bro.
Yeah,
As a
well,
customer,
I get it, but then it's not a
this is a
service where.
you problem, bro. This
But
is
I'm
not a
saying
we.
that. But I'm saying that then if you're a hardcore gamer, you're not going to be gaming on XCloud. Sorry, on XCloud because that is a garbage service in terms of like unless you're playing on a small ass cell phone screen in an airport, you're not gonna want to game on that.
Yeah, no, it's true. In relation to the GeForce Now, the cap situation, I'm all for it just simply because, they want to increase prices, but rather than increase prices, they increase prices on the players who are, using the system, the ecosystem the most, and I think that's fine because they are the ones that's actually costing them the most money as well. They'll probably look at me and say, in terms of value, Thai is cost maybe Thai pays $15 a month, but it's actually costing us maybe $23 a month due to the servers and data he's transferring, blah blah blah. But we'll take that L because we want to grow the platform. However, you have these other gamers who are spending hundreds of hours, and they're like, this guy's paying $15 a month, and it's costing us like $80 because it just plays it nonstop every freaking day. So rather than
Yeah.
actually just increase the price for everybody, how about we tell the gamers who are actually costing us the most money, saying, yeah, listen, how about you guys, pay $30, if you want to pay 100 hours. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Don't punish me because these guys are gaming alcoholics or whatever you want to call them.
Another point, Fuzzy. That's a good one. GeForce Now doesn't have all the games.
They don't, but they're getting very, very close to getting like a lot of them. Like most
Oh my
companies
God,
now are
Oshas,
happy.
how much these guys pay you to shill for them? Jesus.
That wasn't me, dude. Why are you
That
saying
wasn't me. That was Usher's.
that
Oh,
was
okay. Ty, why you shilling so much for
this
GeForce Now?
guy?
I don't understand, bro.
I don't even have.
For everything that they're failing at, oh yeah, but it's fine, because it's GeForce Now.
I think just the quality of the product is it's really really good. And I actually turned on my internet. We reduced the data cap or the speed, and the quality of GeForce actually went down a little bit, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, just it's the future. That's why I'm so like bullish on it.
I have no doubt that it's the future, but it's definitely not today, in my opinion.
And then it's so bad in South Africa that I'm on the waiting list for the waiting list to get on GeForce now because of how limited those server blade
Hmm.
uh, sorry antennas or whatever they have
The
in the
waiting
country.
list for the waiting list.
Yeah, to get onto the waiting list. Like it's like it's been a year, dude. Like I've given up. Like I even got a PC before I could get onto GeForce now.
Hey, do you want Starlink?
No, no, fuck Elon.
You mad? Are you mad?
I mean, it's expensive. Like I mean, like how much are you gonna be paying for a day by y'all guys in dollars?
In dollars, I'm going to be paying $50 a month.
$50 for which one? Which plan?
For the domestic plan, the house, household
Let me
plan,
see. You're paying $50 is around what I'm paying for my internet. And then what are you like? What are the speeds and stuff like?
200 megs minimum.
That's I mean, like a lot of service providers do those numbers now. Like,
Yeah. I've gone to see some friends around here who also have it. I've seen one with like 600 megs, another had like 250, 220. I've seen one with 800. So I think it fluctuates, but at least it's gonna be 200. That's the
So you're
minimum.
saying $50 a month is what you're going to be paying?
That's what I'll be paying, yeah. But to buy it, it cost me
Yes, there's an upfront cost as well, most.
about $600, yeah.
Ugh.
But it's weird because I bought it last. When did I buy it? I think I bought it on Friday. I bought it on Friday, and the ETA is next Monday. So that's less than 2 weeks. I don't know if that's real. We'll see. But they sent me an email saying it'll be here on the 10th. That's strange.
I know, congrats, bro. I just would never like. I'm not a Elon guy. I'm not. I'll never support that guy. And we in our country anymore, we're beefing with him, so we don't want his Starlink, and then he doesn't
Yeah,
want.
yeah. But it's
He
not
does it in
illegal
front
for
of
you
our
to
white
install it,
people.
though. Oshes, it's not illegal, right? Like I could buy it and then
Yeah.
drive it to Pretoria and drop it off with you. Correct?
Yeah, yeah, sure, but I still wouldn't
Yeah.
want it. I'm good. I'm a
Yeah,
pretty.
you're real salty. Real
I'm pretty
salty.
good, yeah.
Rachie says, let's be honest, electricity on those GeForce cards are insane, so paying for GeForce isn't that crazy. Vincent says they need your data. Starlink is a military service. Brother, everyone wants my data. It's not just Starlink. Everyone wants a piece, brother. There's no exception. Vodacom, they want my data. Or every other ISP, even the one that Oshis is using in SA, they also want my data. Anyway,
Yeah, like I don't know. Like for me, it's more of just like not liking. Aside from that, like his entire argument for why he can't or he doesn't want to bring it, it's the same bullshit that he's telling the rest of the world
why
about
he doesn't
us.
want to bring what?
Starlink here, most he says we have got racist laws that prevent because of the
No,
fact that he doesn't want to put down
no.
30%.
You
So
guys are the ones who rejected him. Because
exact.
he.
Well, yeah, because of the fact that he doesn't want to meet the equity requirements here.
Ah, okay, that's different. That's different.
Like every country has requirements in terms of what you need to comply. Either they want you to own. China is the worst example of that. Like you have to literally have a Chinese backer, for you to start to open a business. So we have similar things here because we've got targets, to achieve in terms of like making sure that like our business goals are met. And then he disrespects all that for no apparent reason, just because he's him. But Amazon and everyone else has come here and had no issues with that.
He thinks he's bigger than Amazon. That's your problem with Elon.
He thinks he's bigger than anybody, to be honest. That's the problem with him. Bit of a madman. You guys saw
Mad
what happened with Zelensky and the administration?
I saw that. That was wild, man.
I saw the SNL version.
Hmm. It was very
Dude,
it was very disturbing. Wasn't a pleasant watch, to be honest.
that was extra.
It was very
Like that
disrespectful.
was. What did you guys expect? You like. I mean, this is why. To me, like my thing is right. Like I did not at any point in time. I'm not surprised Elon is acting this way. He's historically everything that he's doing is what I would expect of a South African billionaire who grew up in the 1970s in South Africa. It's not out of character. Same with
Say the whole statement, Osha. Say the whole statement. A white South African billionaire. Come on.
yes, a white South African billionaire who grew up here in the midst of apartheid when everything was good, and his parents, of course, his grandparents were Nazis from Canada who ran away because of how un-Nazi Canada was becoming. And then, like with Donald Trump, similar thing, man. Like the dude from the first term, you knew exactly what to expect. So I just think well, in America anyway, they chose what they thought was the lesser of two evils, and they got that situation what they got at the White House over the
Wait,
week.
what? Did you say they chose the lesser of two evils?
Well, I think as far as they're concerned, yes, that's what they were doing.
Oh,
Whether it
who?
is,
Oh, you
I
mean
do
the
Americans.
Oh, okay, the
I mean,
Americans.
your boy won with a landslide. I mean, it just tells you what they thought
He
about.
didn't win with a landslide. This is a myth.
He
it's,
did,
I
it's,
was
bro.
He
How is it?
didn't. He didn't because do you know who? Do you know that Joe Biden's win over Trump was bigger
Yes,
than Trump's win over Kamala? But nobody ever said
In terms of margins, yes, but in terms of who actually won the, the
electoral college.
individual battles of like popular vote,
No, no. Joe
the
Biden's popular vote
Senate.
was higher than Trump's popular vote.
yes,
That's
but
what
that's
I'm
the
trying
only
to
thing that
say.
he got was the popular vote
Trump
and
won in all the
unanimous.
categories.
But like the problem is, there's all these other things like the judiciary and all this other stuff, like where you can appoint X amount of judges, all that stuff. Like they've never had such a powerful position in a long. I don't remember which president or which candidate from the Republicans had such a powerful position as Trump went into, like, his presidency. His first term was not this generous in terms of like the amount of people he could control.
No,
Like the
I believe
Republicans
in
really
his
got it.
first term, I believe he had the House and the Senate as well, and then they lost it as time went on. From what I remember, like Trump's win has been the best win of a Republican since since whenever.
Like
But
Ronald Reagan or something.
yeah, but Trump's win is only as crazy because it's a Republican win because the Democrats have always been stepping on them. That's why, like again, Biden across the board, even I think on the popular vote, did better than Trump. It's just nobody, because I think they were talking about this in Piers Morgan's podcast, where he was like, Trump has a mandate to do all whatever the hell he wants, and Democrats should stop him. And then the panelists were like, but Biden did better than Trump when he won. But you never said Democrats had a mandate to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. In fact, you would go crazy if they ever said that, and which is the truth. So I think with Trump, he just gets this kind of special um
Mhm.
privileges. If, for example, even Nick Fuentes said it right. Trump announced like, "Hey, we deported X amount of immigrants or whatever, like like asylum seekers or whatever," and everyone was going crazy. Oh, look what Trump did this, and then Nick Fuentes was like, "Biden did more than that."
Obama
It's
did more than that.
yeah,
Yeah,
Biden
like I
Obama
mean
did.
that day we
It's
can
like
all
the
agree.
people on the right side are just willing to take in any piece of information that seems like a win. They don't even analyze it to see if it is actually a win or not.
Everyone does that. Everyone does that.
Yeah,
No,
but the
no,
thing is
no,
like
no, 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 no. Not everyone
There's
does
no
that. No way.
exceptions. Dude, on the left, there was people spewing radical, insane things, and everyone on the left was clapping like mindless, brainless seals. Everyone on the extremes has problems. It's only the people in the middle that are kind of okay in the head. Everyone on the extremes has problems, and
Everyone has extremes.
until you can accept that, it'll never make sense.
No, because you keep trying to equate two things and they're not the same. Like if you're
Okay.
saying everyone is extreme, right? However, if I was to say to you, which group engages in more fake news or extreme takes or
Both of
um,
them.
this,
I don't
Both,
know, Tai.
wait, you're
both
saying they're
of them.
equal?
Both of them.
Who
Well,
on
Tai,
the
I was
who?
told that
Hold on, who on the left? Yeah, is equivalent of Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
like were you asking in what capacity? Like
Yeah,
you mean like
no, like yeah. Who is the left's version of Donald Trump, and who is the left's version of Elon Musk?
I don't
I
think we
mean
could
there's
go
no
on
you
that
can't to your
specifically
point, you can't compare like for like. But these are the same guys that had us
because
believing like
people are
we
not
went
numbers.
from a very simplistic sort of like academic understanding of what a simple thing as gender was to now there's 200 definitions of this thing. And that's not a thing that was like parroted by one or two people. This became the truth. This is what you like. There's again, you cannot compare there. Like the one is very simplistic. That's the thing with Trump's politics. It's very simplistic, very straightforward, easy talking points. The other one fucks with you on a level where you wake up and then people have just changed things around you and you don't even understand what the fuck. Now you've got all these things that you need to comply with that you never signed up for, that you never agreed. Like, and this stuff went from like, well, it was funny when it was being done in America, but now I'm also getting policies from work telling me or dictating that okay, going forward, this is how we're going to address this. This is how. And I'm like, what? I didn't sign off to this shit. Like Americans decided this thing, but like now it's my daily bread. So I get what the average person got pissed off by. It's just like all these arbitrary rules being forced on you, and if you don't comply, then you're an ist, you're a phobia, you're this, you're all sorts of names, and you can't ask questions.
And Ty, a popular retort to what Oshis is saying that I've also heard many times is, oh, but that's not an important issue. It's not important. Okay, it's not important. So can you answer that one so I can know, right? And this is just me using it as an example. So I can know I'm not dealing with a psychopath. I will first say good morning to you. And I expect you to say good morning back to me. If I say good morning to you and then you tell me I don't fucking arrivederci or some and then you say some random ass shit that makes no sense. I Dude, like all types of walls have been put up on my side at least because I'm like, this person doesn't even know the basics of how to behave with other human beings. How can I even discuss procurement with this person? How do I discuss more complex issues when we can't even agree on is left left and is right right? And then no, but it's not important. All right then, if it's not so important, why is Ushers now having to hear about this at his workplace? If it's so meaningless, why does everyone need to comply? I guess it's not so meaningless. And that's why that guy won. It's not because he's smart or anything. It's just because he, like Osher said, came up with some simple shit. It's like, guys, you know what I think? I think the sky is blue. People are like, what? This guy, this guy's got two neurons to rub together. And they asked him, all right, so what's a woman? And then he responded, they're like, oh, hold on. This guy looks like a functioning human being.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got many, right, gigantic ass flaws. But a lot of people agree with him on the basics. On the basics. The other guys, they don't even know what the basics are. Forget agreeing on them. You can't even ask them what color is the sky, bro. They're like, well, which level of the sky are we talking about?
Well, it
it's like
depends.
my
When are you asking? Like,
it's
are
like
you
my guy.
asking?
Is seawater salty? Is there salt in the seawater? Well, and it's like, my guy, what are you talking about? And that's why it all went left, or should I say right? Whatever.
Yeah,
At
like
least, at least that's my breakdown. It's not complicated. It's simple. And the guys that made it complicated lost because they made it complicated.
exactly. Like I mean, and my thing is like they should have just been like very like I don't know when this thing started, but like when this whole identity thing started, like yes, I just think it just pissed so many people off, and it's
And
such a
Fuzzy,
minute thing. It's
dude,
such
dude.
a
Sorry, Usher. Sorry to cut you off. Fuzzy, 1,000,000% I agree with you. There's so many big things to be dealt with. So many serious things to be discussed. But if you cannot agree on the basics, then there's no space to discuss the big things. If Let me give you an example. Let's keep it to podcasting and gaming. If Tai and Oshis cannot figure out how to get here on time consistently, this cannot work. It doesn't matter if Tai has some mad editing skills. It doesn't matter if Oshis has some poignant points to get across. If we cannot agree on the basics of where we're going to meet, what time we're going to meet, and Locke is going to be driving the conversation because you need a moderator. If we cannot agree on the fundamental basics, there's no space to move forward to talk about complicated stuff. If you meet, if you go on a date with someone and they sit with their head on the chair and their ass up in the air, you guys, there's no space there for you to think like, all right, maybe I can build a life with this person. My guy, me and you don't even agree on how to sit at the table. How are we going to discuss the intricacies of an intimate relationship? Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Fuzzy? I'm not saying you should have won. I'm just explaining that most people have 9 to 5 jobs, they have families, they don't have the time to sit down there and break down entire policies. Most people are just like, yo, what can you tell me in 15 minutes? It's not the best way to make a decision, a life altering decision, a planet altering decision. But that's what it is. It's 15 minutes, and what can you tell me? In 15 minutes, that guy got across that, yo, I'm just another guy. I probably don't know as much as you guys. We'll see what happens. In 15 minutes, the losers got across that, you know what? We can't even agree on the common sense stuff. Vincent said, dudes will tell the chick that sits with their heads, I can fix her. I guess, maybe. But most of the time, you sit at that chair, and then when she sits with her head on the seat and it has her ass up, most dudes are just getting up and leaving. Because, come on. Fuzzy says, oh, the powers at B are distracting you from the important things with this BS. Again, this goes back to the discussion about Veilguard. This goes back to the discussion about Veilguard. If if your weak spots get highlighted and there's no space for your strong spots, that is a you problem, especially in politics. Because in politics is like marketing. You're supposed to get across your message. If your message doesn't get across, it's your fault for not getting it across. We need to stop trying to make third parties accountable for the first party's failure. My job is to sell bananas. I failed to sell bananas. It's not the fault of the people that didn't buy my bananas. It's my fault. I went to the wrong place. I probably didn't uncover the motherfucking bananas, and I just sat there instead of hawking them and trying to convince people to buy them. So it's my responsibility to go out there and sell my bananas. It's the politician's responsibility to go out there and sell his or her ideas. If they fail, it's not the people's fault that the politician failed to convince them. That's not how it works. Fuzzy said, I'm not arguing that the fact that the Democrats can't get a better candidate than Trump. Yeah, that's insane. You see, Fuzzy now gets it. Fuzzy gets it. Exactly. It's their fault for not bringing someone that can outshine the other guy. Because
And,
that's
and
all
my
it is.
and my
This,
thing is like, if
all
you
this
look
is
at
true. I was going to say
So, sorry,
all this is
Ty, go
true.
ahead. Me and Oshis have been talking a lot. Go ahead, Ty.
All this is true. The problem that I have, so like the Democrats take their L's for having bad candidates. The whole Joe Biden thing, him being Sleepy Joe, all the situation. But I would say this is that what shocks me about people is that Trump is very good at not articulating, at manipulating and giving slogans. He's playing a lot of people, and when people willingly fall into his play, that's what just kind of baffles me. And they're willing to, if the Democrats were to do something, they'll analyze it. No, show me the stats. How did you get that number? Blah 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 blah. But as soon as Trump does something, it's always a pass. You know how many people have argued with about Doge and all these Trump-like things, and they just don't really seem to care. They'll take whatever W's or fake W's, whatever number he throws out there, and they'll make it seem like it's just something that's good. it's crazy that these are the people who, let's say, for example, they're all about law and order. Democrats are violence. Look at them, Black Lives Matter. Then Trump pardons all these criminals who did the January 6th stuff, and they're just quiet, like, meh, it's okay. The What I find with the people on the right is that they don't really seem to have any moral values. They just kind of swing. It depends on how they feel. If something supports them, they'll support it. If something is against them, regardless of the moral
Same as the left.
implications,
You
not
just
Same
as
as the
much.
described
left.
wokies to me.
Same as the left, dude.
I
Well,
just did what?
wokies are exactly what you just described.
It's the exact same thing, dude. That's what I've been saying since the beginning. The both sides, both extremes behave the exact same way. It's two sides of the same coin.
You guys keep saying both extremes, but can we acknowledge that it's not equal? You can say the left does it 60%, but can you say the right does 100% more? Like you can't just say it's 50-50. There's a reason why, for example, the left, when Biden was in power, there was no one like Trump. Biden's not like Trump, right?
I
Look
would
at
say,
okay. Well, hold on, hold on, wait,
we
hold
have
on.
no way
If you
to
were to look,
quantify
if you were
if
to
it's
look at, if
50-50.
you were to look
That's
at,
all I'll say.
if you were to look at the presidents, the people who the left elects as presidents, right? It's literally Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. They're all very similar people. Trump is not the equivalent on the
I don't
opposite side of
remember
them.
Barack Obama getting his dick sucked in the White House.
I'm talking policies. I'm not talking about sexual
I don't
interactions.
remember Bill Clinton bombing the crap out of the Middle East like Obama did.
I'm
Only
saying
one African, only
all these
one president.
individuals that I
I
just
don't remember
mentioned.
Obama sanctioning, right, and supporting and funding a whole lot of stuff that's been going down in Palestine.
Besides that, like the only American leader that I know that came into Africa and took out a leader in his own country was Barack Obama.
Okay,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God!
you
What you
guys
mean in
can.
his own country? What are you talking about? Barack Obama is
Gaddafi,
American.
they assassinated Gaddafi in his own country, NATO.
Oh no, I thought you were saying that Obama is from thingy Libya. That's not true.
No, no, no,
I,
no. I'm saying that he's the only American president that's ever walked into an African country and took out a president or
oh
a
my God!
African country.
Vince says Trump is bringing back entertainment this season. My guy, this might get too entertaining for everyone. All right. Uh, Rachie says Sleepy Joe platinum both Horizon. That's what happens when you platinum the Horizon games, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens. That's what happens. Sorry, Oshis, go ahead.
Hold, like it's just. Do we not think it's insane that, like, because we're talking about the equivalents, right? And then this dude Trump guy literally posts a video of him saying he wants to take Gaza, and he posts an AI video of him, like, in Gaza with Elon Musk eating stuff. Like, are we saying like this is like Obama and Biden are the equivalent of this? This is insane. If you guys right now had,
So your
if there
issue
was,
is with the dude's marketing, not with the actions.
I mean, is it the marketing? Like, do you think, like, what happened with
Well, did
Zelensky
he do it?
in that Oval Office? Do you think that was like?
No,
Do
I'm
you think
saying,
that
wait,
was
wait,
the way
wait,
to
wait.
do it?
Did he do it? Did he go to Gaza and do that?
The the fact that he said that he's not
So
taking.
again,
Well,
so
hold on,
again,
hold on. The
I'm
fact
right when I
he has
say that
said
was
he
just
has
marketing.
said that there's a country in the Middle East that is
Yes.
being discussed. Sorry, that there's a conflict over as to who owns it. And then
Yeah.
he says he's going to come over and take it. What
Yeah.
leader says this? Number one. Number two. What leader tells an ally in
Uh,
Norway, or was it Denmark, which one it was, that says that, like, we want your country, and you know what? Yeah, we're not taking military off the table. This is not how you speak to other leaders. It's insane. And when I say what's the equivalent of this on the left, and you guys say Obama, that's insane. It's not the
Well,
same.
but like I'm saying
so
that Obama's
again,
that worse. Like everything that they try to like say like with the Trump like on paper, like whether you like this is what I always say. Like if you look at all American presidents, like on paper, dude, like go look at those results. Go look at those numbers. Always look just as bad for the Democrats than as they do. You're looking at all the soft stuff, like what he says and like diplomacy. Yes, he's a horrible diplomat. I think we can all conclude that. But in terms of his actions, dude, do you know that like him doing what he did, Barack in Libya? Like we have now so many other social ills now in that area that have
he
never
kept the
existed.
entire continent.
Sorry, Luke.
I'm saying that kneecapped the entire
Yeah,
continent.
because this is the guy. He was the wealthiest man on this continent in terms of like he had the means. He had actually stopped things like there's a lot of brown versus black racism in Africa, and a lot of that, like he had managed to put a stop on that there, especially the slave trade there of dark skinned people, or dark skinned Africans there towards Central Africa. He had stopped all of that, Gaddafi, because he was pro African first. He wasn't like pro Arab first. He was always pro African first. And the only president to come in here and take that dude out was Barack Obama. That's what I'm saying. Is that on paper, in terms of like how many people he droned, how many like a lot more, I would say internationally, a lot more of us suffered under, like, say, when Trump says risque shit in the White House with JD.
Honestly, I'm more about what you do than what you say, Ty.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Because
saying.
and especially with politicians,
Do
because
you
guys,
think? Do you
come on,
think the whole
come on.
January? Do you think
At
the
our
January
ages,
16
at
was
our
okay?
ages, guys, we've seen politicians promise and say millions of things. These are not the most trustworthy people to listen to. Why is it that we can sit here and say, yeah, we don't listen to politicians, but when this specific politician speaks, we're going to now turn and this again, right? This is me with my favorite philosophy of it. If it goes forward, it must go backwards. If we sit here and we say we don't trust these politicians, why is it that we pick and choose to trust him specifically when he says the X, Y, and Z? When now it's actually detrimental to him and his angles. Now we now believe and trust every single word that leaves this politician's mouth. But this whole time we've been talking about we can't trust this motherfucker. It's like, bro, let's pick a side. Let's pick a side because this can get embarrassing very quickly.
I mean, you guys say do, but like, what do you think about the whole January 6th situation? Was that him just saying, or was that doing?
I
You
think that
see,
was
like,
a bad. I think that
I will
was a
always hold
terrible.
on, wait. I will always stress this,
You
yeah.
asked me a question. You asked
Okay,
me a
go ahead.
question.
Go ahead. Finish up.
I think that was a very sad day in their history, and I feel like he shouldn't have said what he said. I think it was inflammatory, although a lot of people like to say that, well, not say, it's true. He didn't direct anyone to go there and do whatever, but he did inflame the hearts and minds of the people there. So, what was he responsible?
Well, I
I
mean, what
can't,
about the
I
state
can't sit
electors?
here and say that he has no culpability for what happened that day.
But what about the state electors when he tried to switch it out when he claimed that he's the rightful president?
When he said what?
The state electors documentation, people who have to sign off on the documents that says that, like,
Yeah,
this is, that Joe Biden, that my state has chosen Joe Biden as the president, and then he went to go get fake electors and told them to say he is the one who actually won, which
I
would cause
didn't see any of that. I
But
didn't see
well,
any of that. I can't
these are
comment on that.
well, okay, well, fair enough. But these are facts.
I
I
know
mean,
he challenged the results. I don't know about
no, no,
him taking fake
yeah,
people to go fake stuff. I don't know nothing about that.
yeah, but what I'm saying is true, right? So this is what we will probably define as a coup. So, for example, if this was happening in Africa, this would just be a coup. We would just say like someone's attempted a coup right there. When Trump does it, though, it's a little bit different. And this is my
Oh, man.
issue: when people are willing to vote for somebody because they don't like DEI, they don't like woke stuff, but you're willing to throw away literally everything, any moral ground, any type of structure that keeps your democracy in place. It's absolutely insane. This is how freaking tyrants and weirdos get into power. When I watched that, that,
But Ty,
mhm,
you know what's really hurtful, and what everyone that says what you are saying right now
mhm.
completely forgets in all of this. It's like that meme. It's not a meme. It's actually just a video where it's like a holiday video where they put the child, like the baby, on the carpet, and then mom's on this side, dad's on this side, the baby sister's on this side, and the big brother's on the other side. And then they wait for the baby to crawl to whoever, and then whoever the baby crawls to is the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Ty, you said that the Democrats for years and years and years kept winning. The same people that voted for the Democrats turned around and said, no, we're not doing this anymore. Why, Ty? Why do we sit here and we just blame the baby that crawled to the little sister? Why are we not sitting here and saying, why didn't this baby crawl to the mother? What's the mother been doing? What's the father not been doing for this child? Has the big brother been hitting this child or not? What's been going on? It's always no, bad baby. You should have crawled to your mother. No, Ty, that's not how it works. It is incumbent upon those who wield power to convince the people that they're doing it in the best interests of the people. And if the people come to the decision that that's not what those people are doing in power, then they're going to get the fuck up out of there. You have failed your job. It
I
doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what the other guy is. Dude, Kanye West could have won the presidency and you know what? Anyone else could have won the presidency. Sorry. And the conclusion is still the same. Why did the people not pick you? You failed, not the people. That's at least that's how I see it. You failed, not the people. If any argument that starts with blaming the people, it's almost like the arguments that starts with in gaming blaming the customer. Before we even get to the end of your paragraph, you've already failed the exam because this is a one way. It's a one-way relationship. Democracy is the elected officials serve the people. Those who serve the people efficiently usually find themselves in power in situations where it's not like what happens in Mozambique with what's happening in my country. In situations where people vote and actually the votes are actually counted properly, the relationship is a one-way street. You serve the people reward you with votes. Or they go and vote someone else. That's how it works. They failed, Ty. And until you and even they accept that they failed, then there's no way to get better. It's all going to be, no, fuck the people. We have so many bad people in our country. That's all it's going to be. Okay, cool. You know what happens when you have a relationship where you are berating the people you're supposed to be serving? Do you know what happens in that relationship? The people aren't going to patronize you, whether it's buying your video games, watching your movies, hello Disney, or voting for you. Simple. There's no need to complicate things.
it's this whole idea of this loud majority, sorry, minority. Like the same thing you see in gaming. A lot of people are saying like this is what exactly the Democrats were saying before the election. No, it's nothing. All the polls, all the mainstream media outlets are saying, we're ahead, we're doing well, and they ignored like the rumblings of the people because it's this loud minority of trolls. Well, the trolls ended up getting Donald Trump a victory in the White House, and it's unfortunately that's how things work. If you ignore people and your answer to people that are like questioning things that you're putting into place is some form of cancellation or some form of regulation, or getting them to be watched or censored or whatever, it's not going to get you what you want. And the left historically has never been pro things like censorship and all the stuff that the left became about controlling people. And it's always been we are the better man until it wasn't. And I think that's when a lot of people sort of lost faith in
There's so much nuance in a lot of these discussions, and
True,
the
true.
the left is guilty of many things, But there's a problem that I find where people, let's say, just give the left a blanket statement on on the causes, right? So, for example, when it comes to cancellation, not for cancellation, sorry, when it comes to censoring, the reason why the right was censored is pretty freaking simple. Is because these people generally were saying dog whistles and racist things. That was why.
But
There was no reason, and even I think the court cases on Twitter initially even said we don't target people. It's just there's certain key words that these people say that makes it seem like we're targeting them. But so, for example, if the right has more racists in their group by default they will be cancelled more.
so,
That was what
like,
Twitter said, and these were
okay,
facts, right?
no, I
It
don't disagree
wasn't
with that.
facts. It wasn't facts. It was wrong. And you know why it's wrong? Because they lost.
But besides that, like, think about it. Like, I mean, if you look at like all these situations that you're referring us, of course, specifically to the cases with Twitter. Like, I'm just talking from a normal, rational person that has nothing to do with these things. I'm never on Twitter. I wake up and I get to work and I'm being handed brochures and I'm being told this is the thing now. And I'm like, but okay, so you telling me so I have to now change how I learned or how I grew up. And this is not even a culturally significant thing in my country. It's because some kid who comes from a wealthy family and happens to be exposed to that now feels that this is how I need to change how I was raised to address them. And these are not things that I'm being asked to do. I'm being told, well, if you're not doing it, then you're not complying. Then we need to send you to sensitivity training and you need to be like, I'm like, whoa, like I need to be re-educated, in other words, to sort of understand basic things that I grew up under. Like, this is not like a matter of like the laws in my country changed. This is by osmosis. A company that I work for happens to have probably American investors or whoever or interests that now believe that this is the direction that we need to go in, and every one of your employees needs to play along. That's very different from me being on Twitter and engaging in those arguments.
There's a like that's a real life scenario, true, and I'm sure many people have those examples. But I would say the vast majority of people do not have those examples. Like when I was talking to my one of my guys, and he said he had sensitivity training, and the guy told him, "Hey, just out of just out of respect for your colleagues, it'd be nice if you guys could put your pronouns in your thing. Obviously, it's not by force, but you guys could do it too." My sister said the same thing too. Like somebody told her, like, "Hey, listen, it would be nice if you guys could do it," but there was no mandate or force
But
being
if you
there.
don't do it, come on, bro.
No, no,
Come
hold
on.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. But hold on. But you see, they didn't do it, and neither did my sister, and they're still perfectly fine. So I'm saying that the examples that you're giving, they're somewhat of the extreme end, and most people
Someone
have
didn't
not.
do it. Someone didn't do it at my workplace, and it didn't end so well.
What
What
do you
now?
think happens to you, Taye, if you
What's the
cut
discussion
from
now? No, hold on. He's using his sisters, right? That everything went well because they didn't when they didn't comply. Things didn't go well at my end when they didn't comply. What now, Tyre? What's the new
I
conclusion now?
said two
Or
points.
does my example not count and
But
only yours does, so you can finish your point?
well, I said 2 points. The first one was from an objective point of view, most people are not come into contact with these kind of discussions. That's number one. Then Usher's response was obviously like he has a personal example. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's true, but I can also give you a personal example where it didn't affect me. Now we can do all this subjectivity as much as possible, as much as we want,
okay.
but the overall point is this: objectively, most people are not getting fired because they don't have pronouns on their company email. Or do you want to say right now?
We would need to prove that.
Okay, okay, but are you willing to say right now that you
Yeah.
would support that you agree that most people who refuse to put he, they, she, whatever on the pronouns are getting fired?
No, 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 that's not what I said.
I
Like,
No,
can't
no, no,
again,
I
no, no,
can't
no, no,
I
no. I'm
can't
asking Loke. I'm asking
I
Loke.
can't guarantee either one or the other. So I think it's irresponsible to point out
You have
that it works for
some
the
crazy
positive or
prince,
negative.
some king from Africa, Saudi, wherever has just came to you right now and said, $1 billion, look. If you get the right answer, you get $1 billion. Are most people being fired because they said, I don't want to put he, they, she, whatever it is on my pronouns. I just want to put my name on it.
With a
What do you
billion
say?
dollars on the sign.
What do you say?
No, but
Uh, I would say no. I don't think they're being fired.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Most people are not coming into contact with these kind of discussions. So what happens is when we
so
say
what
like,
if
"Oh, well, this happened," we make it
so
seem as if
Tai?
everybody is thinking this or everybody is
So
experiencing this. They're not.
so Tai, when now we're sitting and having these discussions at work and oh, this is happening, and then someone comes to me and says, well, there's 30 different genders, and I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, there's just two, bro. What do you think is gonna happen to me?
I have no idea. The reason why I have no idea is because I nobody has ever said this to me in my workplace. I don't know
I've had this
anybody.
sort of conversations before, like
No,
in
no,
previous.
I've had these discussions before as
All
well.
right, all
And the
right,
most I
all
can
right.
imagine is HR telling me like, "Hey, listen, be respectful, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff." Yeah, but for me to have some kind of warning or to get fired, I've never had this experience. I don't know anybody who's had this
Okay.
experience before.
Easy. It says play along. John Cena did. Now he's a heel. Yeah, I guess we should just follow John Cena's advice, guys. Just play along, right? When it's time to vote, vote. Other than that, pretend that everything's fine, everything's all right. The elemental hero says, but the problem is if it's forced. This was the same thing with Gina Carano, and people was after her, and Disney let her go. I think there's a slippery slope there, and elemental hero. I'm 1,000,000% with you on that one. What happened to Gina Carano was a great injustice. We can get into the weeds of that another day.
I don't even know about that, to be honest.
Oh, you don't know what happened? All right.
No,
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 he
no.
Um,
knows, but he
I know a
says
little
he's
bit what happened.
pleased with
I think
the outcome.
I think she's very silly, to be honest. I don't get her. Um, this
also,
is
you know
kind.
what? You know how she got fired by Disney.
Yeah, yeah, she was saying some controversial shit. They told her, please, please, please stop. And she kept on saying, no, I'll do what I want to do and say what I want to say. And then eventually they let her go.
And then, while at the exact same time, Pedro Pascal and a bunch of other actors on Disney on the same set
Hmm.
were saying the exact opposite as her for the extreme on the other party, and they kept their jobs.
Hmm.
So when you say, "Oh, no one gets fired when they say these things," you asked me a pointed question about the $1 billion thing. Yes, I would say, you know what, most people aren't getting fired, but you know what else is happening? There's a lot of stigma going around.
I mean, look, if I was in my workplace and I was talking about how like, making statements about like
Let me finish.
Jews not really be getting beaten, yeah, it's gonna be controversial.
Let me finish. A lot of people are getting stigmatized. A lot of people are not going to get promoted. A lot of people are going to get put aside. A lot of people are not going to get recommended, etc. So they comply. And then the only people that can step out and say something is the people that don't have paychecks attached to their behavior. Everyone else, you shut up, you lower your head, and you comply. And time and during the entirety of human history, human beings have not responded well to any situation that says be quiet, lower your head, and follow the instructions. We, as a species, it seems to be the one thing that that we all agree on, whether it's Africans, Asians, Europeans, Americans. It seems to be the one thing we all agree on. We do not respond in a positive manner to any environment that says lower your head, shut your mouth, and march in the direction that everyone else is marching in. That's what I'll say about that.
The Gina Carano situation, it's not about if she's going to win the case or not. I mean, I think she should actually get something. Where I'm just really confused is people who just feel like they're untouchable. You have a position in probably the best Star Wars show. Disney is also looking to give you your own show. You're saying things about the election. You're making fun of people's pronouns, saying beep, bop, boop. You're saying things about the Jews that are seen to some people as potentially reducing the effect of the Holocaust. You're triggering them. And it was very clear. Disney told her a few times, please stop
Pedro
saying this.
Pascal also triggered people.
Hold on,
Not
hold
only
on.
did he keep his job, he got even more jobs.
But hold on. But this is the thing that I think is really, really important, yeah.
Ah,
And at the end of the day, when this is telling you to stop and you have this potential, and then for you to keep going, and then they fired you, how about you just shut the fuck up? That's all you had to do, right? That's what
exactly.
you had
Some
to do.
people were tired of
Exactly.
shutting the
Dude,
fuck up.
dude, you just
Tai.
said Tai, you just went you did a roundabout and you said exactly what I just said.
Yeah, Gina should have shut the fuck up. Yeah.
But
Well,
that's the thing.
she didn't, and you know what happened? Tom didn't, and then Andrew didn't, and then Oshis didn't, and then Loke didn't, and you know what happened in November of 2024?
That has nothing to do with this.
It has everything to do with it because we're tired of being
There is,
told shut the fuck.
I'll tell you,
Like, dude,
okay, wait, hold on, wait. This is kind of what I mean, right? It's people like to see things through their own lens, right? So if a game sucks, it's because it's woke because I don't like woke. It's not because of the gameplay, it's not because of the story, because of X, Y, Z. And if a game is great, it's because it's fighting these people that I hate, this imaginary villain. You could go to ChatGPT, you could go to Grok, you could go to any website you want, you could go do the research here. And if you were to ask them and say, what was the reason why the election was won? It's gonna come down to primarily one, the economy, and two, migration. These were the two main talking points. Then you're going to have things like maybe cultural backlash, which is much, much lower. I'll give you, like, here's my take on it, yeah. If the left was not woke or crazy woke, yeah, they were just normal. For example, I'm telling you, Donald Trump still wins the election.
no, he doesn't. Like
Yes,
because
it's,
first of all, they would have never put a female candidate in there who whatchamacallit, who Biden
it's
himself,
not about a
and
female
he put.
candidate. What do you mean? Do you mean like going against Trump because she was the vice president and she's
Well, I mean,
qualified?
like how many women? Well, let's look at the scoreboard. How many women has Trump beaten?
One. He's only run against one.
He's run against two.
Well, yeah, two. Yeah, yeah,
All
before
right,
And he's
all
Kamala.
right.
beaten both of them. Like
Before
how
Kamala,
many guys has he beaten?
None. I
none.
don't think it's beaten any.
Exactly, and that's my point. If any other dude, if they were not woke, they would have never approached this from a woke politics.
But forget about that. What I'm saying is very, very specific. If there was no such thing as woke, right? We're going all the way back to, let's say, Obama times or even before Obama times. Yeah. Do you think Trump loses the election?
To Obama, definitely.
No, no,
Hands
not to
down.
Obama. To Kamala Harris.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
She
think Trump
he
loses to
beats
Kamala?
yes. Any day.
No,
Any
no, no, no.
day.
No, Trump beats her every single time
All
because
right, all
once
right.
again the
We're running
details
in
are
circles
important.
now, boys. We're running in circles
Well,
now.
look, how about you answer my question
We're not
then?
going anywhere. What's your
You,
question,
the
sir?
question is in you take away the woke stuff, all these things that you guys are talking about here, and Trump goes against Kamala. So it's not about woke, it's just
But that's the
He'll
fucking
economy
problem.
lose.
and
He'll
migration.
lose. He'll lose.
He'll lose.
I think he'll lose in that situation. But for
Man.
me, for me, for me, in my opinion, the thing that kneecapped Kamala, the one thing that kneecapped her, is just common sense discussions. Obviously, the most important things is policies and all this other, you know, big picture stuff. But again, most people, dude, we've seen the numbers about the education rates and how homelessness and all this other stuff. The people there aren't worried about all these big picture things, bro. They're worried about next week, next month, next year, bruv. And the one candidate doesn't even know what the color of the sky is. The other candidate knows it knows and agrees with them about common sense things. He's not the smartest guy on the planet, but he agrees with them about common sense things. That's all people did, bro. They did not study and look at policies and all this other bullshit. They
I
didn't.
mean, if you go back to 2016, this was before all of
Oshus,
this.
last point. Last point. Do your last
No,
point.
yeah.
Plug your channel. Ty, plug your channel. It's late, boys. We have work tomorrow. Go ahead,
Taye
Oshus.
Talks, TayeTalk. You can find me on X/Twitter, or you can find me on YouTube, where I'll be uploading videos on anything gaming related.
All right.
Mine is Oz the Wiz. That will be on YouTube as well as on Twitter and on the Facebooks. I am at Xbox Players SA as just Orshus.
All right. Thank you guys for coming through. Really appreciate that. Fuzzy, last point says Trump won because Kamala was a terrible candidate and they could win based on, hey, at least we are. Exactly. Oh my God. It's common sense. That's all they had to do. Anyways, thank you guys for coming through. Make sure to smash the like button. This has been everything, clearly, right? By the last hour, everything plus gaming. We do this every single Monday on TSWS. Make sure to come through tomorrow. Ham will be streaming Mass Effect once again. Uh, Hopefully, I'll have my PC working, and I'd like to download Dustborn and get it running proper. If it doesn't work, I'll just wait till next week. Wednesday, we have a podcast called The Lowdown with me and Ham talking strictly about video games. And then Friday, it's bullshitting with me, Cozy Beluga, Mad Likes Games, Ham Solo, Mental Niner, discussing the big video game highlights of the week. Thank you so much, everyone. Y'all have a good one. Yes, Vince, it was a long one. We'll see you tomorrow on Ham Solo's stream of Mass Effect. Bye bye.